Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Boy, now you make me float. Boy, you really give me high. Ooh, I feel like I'm on dope. 'Cause you serve me on a regular. Boy, this cat is rope. Before you drift in me deeper. Baby, now hold me close. Let's take this overboard now. Cause you go where I'm going, yeah. And surely you get my vote. 'Cause I believe you know just what you're doing now. Baby, now we can close. Let's go. Let's don't get in a hurry. No, that's too slow.
Persian rose, but she's from Nicaragua. Thought you was Persian love. Are we turning up or are we wasting time? Girl, don't waste my time. No party, I don't just wanna chill with you. Oh no, I wanna turn up on. I wanna turn you on. I wanna let you. That's the least I'ma do. Ooh, fuck, I look like I don't wanna chill. I'm kissing your eyes, you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Can you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Ooh, fuck, I look like I don't wanna chill. I'm kissing your eyes, you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Can you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Oh, feel me, baby. Can you feel me, baby? Feel me, baby. Can you feel me, baby? Oh, feel me, baby. Can you feel me, baby? 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 Feel me, baby. No party, I don't just wanna chill with you. Oh no, I wanna turn up on. I wanna turn you on. I wanna let you. That's the least I'ma do. Ooh, fuck, I look like I don't wanna chill. I'm kissing your eyes, you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Can you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Ooh, fuck, I look like I don't wanna chill. I'm kissing your eyes, you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Can you feel it, baby, can you feel me, baby? Feel me, baby. Can you feel me, baby? Feel me, baby. Can you feel me, baby?
Whole team shining stars, big dipper. Get a lot of hashtag gang in the city.
Hey y'all, happy Monday, everybody. Come on in, come on in. Please hit the like button on the way in. How y'all doing? How y'all doing this morning? Oh, I just started coughing till I hit the live button. Hey Natasha, hey Lynn, hey Leah, hey Miss Margie, hey Young Riaz. Y'all come on in. How was y'all weekend? Thank y'all so much for joining this live. I appreciate it. Be sure to hit the like button, y'all. Okay. Now we gotta get into this because The testimony is continuing today, and I don't want to get too far. Um, I tried to watch a live. Oh, I'm going to have to. You're laughing last night, but I can't find it. I fell asleep. I got messages, a whole bunch of messages this morning about that live. So apparently, I don't know when this happened because I've always y'all know I play the hell out of Samir J. But apparently they her music is now like not only do you get a claim on it, it blocks your stream. And it had to be hers because she's the only I only play Mary J on that live. So what I'm gonna do later after I'm gonna get through as much as I can of this testimony today in 3 hours, and I'll come back and replay that live for those that missed it. It's not gonna be commentary. I'm not gonna do any commentary. I'll probably premiere it and put it back out there without the music because for some reason it was blocked. hmm Due to Mary to the J. All right. So for those that was looking for the replay, I apologize. I was gonna do it earlier, but something came up, so I didn't get to do it. But I'm gonna probably do it this evening. After I get off this live, okay. And I'll try. I'm gonna do it early, Natasha, so you can catch it. So you can catch it before you go nighty night, okay? So yeah, cause it's not. I'm not gonna do any commentary on it or nothing like that. I'm just gonna replay it. Just premiere for those who didn't get to see the entire live, okay? All right, so listen, we're gonna get into. I'm not listen. We're gonna start where we ended. And we ended with the prosecution's opening statement. I hope y'all remember the case. I hope by me not covering it this weekend, y'all remember what the case is about. And so it's the case of, and I forget myself. Well, I don't forget the case. I forget the names. Miles Bryant, the state of Georgia versus Miles Bryant, who is accused of unaliving Susanna Morales. Okay. And so yeah. So listen, I'm gonna mostly play this, y'all, so we can hear. I'm not gonna do a whole lot of content unless it's a point I need to make, and if someone in the chat has any questions, because I know a lot of times some of y'all be missing a day, and if you miss a day, you can miss a lot. Oh wow, Leo, girl, everybody gets sick, child. It's in the air at this point. I hope you feel better, Sugar. But anywho, y'all be sure to hit the like button, support the channel. The Cash App is scrolling across the screen, the PayPal. Y'all hit the like button. Let's get into it. I'm gonna try to do visuals today. Oh, I ain't even changed my hold on, y'all. I'm gonna try to do visuals. Now what we're gonna start with today, y'all, is the defense opening statement, okay? So we're gonna start with the defense opening statement. Let me see if it'll let me do the visuals. Okay. Let's see. Let me put my Hey Juice Kim. Juice Kim, you not a mod in this chat. Hey amazing. And the bushes at work. Okay, thank you, boo. And they won't even let me do it. I thought you was a mod, Juice Kim. Alright, so listen. Let me see how I want to do it. Alright, y'all. So we listened to the prosecution I can't even talk. Prosecution opening statement the other day. So now we're listening to the defense opening statement. And I'm curious to know how they gonna play this. All right. So let's listen. If y'all have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll try to answer them. And let's get started, y'all. Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate it.
Does the defense wish to make an opening statement?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Drake.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Still morning. Always have to. as the judge has told you, what is said in opening is not evidence. But I want to point out a couple of things. Every death is not a homicide. Every homicide is not malice murder, and it's not felony murder. Now, the state said that I'm going to come up here and try to make all sorts of excuses. I'm not. At the conclusion of this trial, I'm going to come up and tell you, hold this man guilty for what he did during this time. Hold him guilty and responsible for the death of Susana Morales, but it doesn't fall in any of those categories. It is a tragedy what happened to Susana Morales. She's a beautiful young lady. I have spoken briefly with members of her family. They're very, very nice. As a mother, I cannot fathom the anguish that they went through. It makes me very upset at Mr. Bryant. But you don't have to like my client. And in fact, at the conclusion of this trial, you're going to think that he is the most callous, uncaring coward that you have ever seen. However, he is not guilty of the murder or felony murder in this particular case. What you have from the state is speculation. We found this, and we don't really know, but this is what we think happened. Particularly on the Life 360. They're not going to introduce to you any expert to explain the 360. You hear about it could have been a hard break, but no, they're speculating that it was thrown out of the car. Their whole case is based upon speculation. At the conclusion of the total trial, and you're going to hear from Miles Bryant, he's going to explain to you exactly what happened, and it is going to be supported by all of the evidence that the state is going to introduce to you. They could have done some more testing to possibly determine the cause of death. They did have hair, they did have bone marrow. They did not test any of those. You're not going to hear any evidence. You're not going to hear any evidence that she did not willingly get into his vehicle, or even that that was the only vehicle that she got into that evening. No evidence whatsoever. You saw in his presentation a video of her walking down the road. There's not going to be any video from any of the surrounding businesses to show how, the manner that she got into the vehicle. There's not going to be any evidence of an intent to rape. That simply did not happen. At the end of this case, you're going to know the full truth. Why Mr. Miles lied to the police, and why he reported his gun stolen. And that is not going to be an issue for you. We will concede that at this point. He did make a false report of his gun being stolen. His gun was not stolen. And he's going to explain to you his thinking and why he made that report. At the conclusion, you're going to see that the state's case is based upon outrage, which is warranted, but speculation. You're going to have the actual truth that is supported by all of the evidence. And I can promise you, you are going to hate that young man sitting there. But at the conclusion of this trial, as he's going to come back and ask you to return the verdict of guilty, I'm going to come back up here and tell you it is fine to hate Miles Bryant. You can hate him all you want. However, I'm going to ask you to be accountable for his actions. But it's not murder. It's not felony murder. It's not kidnapping.
See its first witness? Okay.
Citizen called by Luca Montanari. This chair over here.
For the interpreter, certainly. And let me swear the interpreter in. Do you swear or affirm? Do you swear or affirm that you will interpret from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability? Are you a licensed legal interpreter? And would you state your name?
So I think the first witness is her mom. I think the very first witness is her mom, and I don't think she speaks English. So I think that there's going to be an interpreter. Okay, so here we go.
name for the record. Okay, you'll come right up here, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. Do you want to stand or are you asking to sit?
I'll stand.
Okay, so let's take that seat there. Ma'am, if you'll remain standing, if you'll turn and face me, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say I swear.
I do swear.
Thank you. Please be seated.
I got it sped up a little bit, so y'all let me know if y'all can't understand. I have it sped up just a notch, okay? So if y'all can't understand what they're saying, let me know in the chat.
Don't want you to fall off. Okay.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Now,
Hold on, ma'am. You may understand some English.
¿Entiende algo de inglés?
I do not want you to answer or listen in English, because we're making a record. And it's very important that you wait until the translator interprets from Spanish to English, from English to Spanish. You answer her in Spanish, and then she will answer in English verbatim. Okay, thank you.
how are you?
Bien, good.
Can you tell us your name, please?
¿Me das un nombre, por favor?
María Guadalupe Manzanares.
María Guadalupe Manzanares.
All right, and Ms. Manzanares, I'm going to ask you a few questions. If you don't understand anything that I ask you, just please let me know.
Manzanares le voy a hacer algunas preguntas. Si hay alguna de ellas o algo que yo diga no entiende, por favor, me sabe.
Do you know Susana Morales?
¿Usted conoce a Susana Morales?
Sí,
Yes.
And would you please tell the jury who Susana is to you?
¿Puede decir, por favor, al jurado quién es Susana para usted?
mi hija.
My daughter.
And can you tell us when was the last time that you saw your daughter?
¿Nos puede decir cuándo fue la última vez que usted vio a su hija?
Julio 26 del 2022.
July 26th of 2022.
Can you tell us a little bit about Susana?
¿Nos puede decir un poco acerca de Susana?
Es muy alegre, sonriente.
Very joyful, always smiling.
How old was she when she disappeared?
¿Qué edad tenía ella cuando desapareció?
16,
16.
When was her birthday?
¿Cuándo cumplía años?
24 de junio.
June 24th.
And can you tell us about where approximately you lived at?
¿Nos puede decir dónde aproximadamente vivió usted?
Santa Ana Drive, Norcross, Georgia.
Santa Ana Drive, Norcross, Georgia.
Now, who lived there with you back in July of 2022?
¿Quién vivía con usted ahí en julio del 2022?
Solo yo, ella y mi esposo.
Just me, her, and my husband.
When you say her, do you mean Susana?
¿Significa Susana?
Sí, mi hija.
Yes, my daughter.
Do you have any other children?
¿Tiene más hijos?
Sí,
Yes.
Who are they?
¿Quiénes son?
Julissa y Jasmine.
Julissa and Jasmine.
How old is Teresa?
¿La tiene Julissa?
27.
27.
And does she live nearby to you?
¿Vive cerca a usted?
Como 20 minutos.
About 20 minutes.
And what about Jasmine? How old is she?
Jasmine, ¿qué edad tiene?
Cumplo 21.
She just turned 21.
And does she live nearby to you?
¿Vive cerca a usted?
Como 15 minutos.
About 15 minutes.
Where was, at the time in July of 2022, where was Susana going to school?
En ese tiempo, en julio del 2022, ¿a qué escuela asistía Susana?
En la Meadow Creek High School.
¿La Meadow Creek High School?
Do you remember what grade she's in?
¿Recuerdan qué año cursaba?
En el 10.
10th.
Want to, Your Honor, may I have the liberty to approach the witness? Certainly. I'm going going to show you what I have marked as State's Exhibit number 21. Do you recognize this?
Le voy a mostrar lo que he marcado como evidencia del estado número 21. ¿Usted reconoce eso?
Sí.
Yes.
And
¿Qué es?
Es la foto de sus 15.
It's her quinceañeras picture.
is this Susanna's quinceañera?
Ya.
¿Es la quinceañera de Susana?
Ujú.
Okay.
Ujú.
Is this an accurate photograph of her quinceañera?
Es una foto verdadera de ella.
Sí.
Yes.
Judge, I've moved to admit State's Exhibit number 21. Request the president publish.
Okay, State's Exhibit 21 is admitted with no objection, and she may publish.
Having a little trouble with the technology. Can you tell us, where was this photograph? Where was her quinceañera at?
¿Dónde fue la quinceañera de ella?
Ella escogió ir a comer tacos en el Don Pedro, un restaurante mexicano.
She chose to go eat tacos at El Don Pedro. It's a Mexican restaurant.
Okay. And what kind of things did Susanna like to do?
¿Qué clase de cosas le gustaría hacer a Susana para divertirse?
Le gustaba escuchar música, tocar música, arreglarse, comer antojos.
She liked to listen to music. She liked to play music. She liked to eat. She liked to dress herself up. All that.
Okay. And I want to take a pause just for a second and ensure, since you're not speaking into the microphone, let's go.
Can you're in the seat outside the box see? Okay, okay, great, thank you.
She liked to play music. What kind of music did she play?
Le gustaba tocar música. ¿Qué clase de música le gustaba?
Le gustaba el piano y la guitarra.
She liked the piano and the guitar.
Did she sing?
¿Cantaba?
Sí.
Yes.
Did she ever record videos, things like that?
Solamente cuando estaba tocando piano. Una vez le grabó un video nomás cuando estaba tocando guitarra.
Only when she played the piano, and only one video was recorded when she played the guitar.
How was your relationship with Susanna?
¿Cómo era su relación con Susana?
Buena.
Good.
Would Susanna go and ever hang out with her friends?
¿Susana en algún momento iba a pasar tiempo con las amigas?
Sí.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about her friends. Who was in her friend group?
Díganos un poco acerca de las amigas de ellas. ¿Quién estaba en el grupo de ellas?
La más cercana era Esmeralda y Kaya.
The closest ones were Esmeralda and Kaya.
And how often would she, if you know, how often would she see those friends?
¿Y qué tan seguido, si usted sabe, qué tan seguido ella visitaba a sus amigas?
A veces, 2 veces por semana, a veces casi siempre estaban. Cuando Esmeralda a veces no estaba en mi casa, estaba en la casa de ella, pero casi siempre se visitaban.
Usually 2 times a week, but sometimes if Esmeralda was not at our house, she was at her house, but they would always visit each other.
Does Susanna have a phone?
¿Susana tiene celular?
Sí.
Yes.
How much time does she spend on her phone?
¿Cuánto tiempo pasaba en el celular?
A veces bastante, pero a ella le gustaba mucho leer.
Sometimes a lot, but she liked to read a lot.
Okay. And it seems like a lot of teenagers seem to be attached to their phones and carry their phones all the time everywhere. Was Susanna like that?
Parece que muchos de los jóvenes ahora están muy apegados a su celular y llevan su celular a todas partes. ¿Susana era así?
Sí.
Yes.
Did you ever see her without her phone?
¿En algún momento la vio sin el celular?
A veces cuando estaba tocando guitarra o estaba leyendo.
Yes, sometimes when she was playing her guitar or reading.
Okay. So if something else was in her hand and she couldn't have the phone, would she put it down?
Entonces, si tenía otra cosa en sus manos, ponía el celular a un lado.
Sí.
Yes.
Did Susanna work?
¿Susana trabajaba?
Sí.
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about what she did for work?
Un poco acerca de qué hacía ella para el trabajo.
Ella tomaba orden,
She would take orders.
entregaba comida. En el McDonald's estaba conmigo. Trabajaba conmigo en el McDonald's.
She would deliver food. She worked with me at McDonald's.
Okay. So, and what was her job at McDonald's?
¿Cuál era el trabajo de ella en McDonald's?
Tomar orden.
Take orders.
Okay. Did she work in the drive-thru or at the front?
¿Trabajaba en el drive-thru o al frente?
Diferente a veces en el retro, a veces.
Different. Sometimes in the drive-thru, other times inside.
Did you get her the job working with you?
¿Usted le consiguió trabajo para trabajar con usted?
Sí.
Yes.
And how long has she done that job with you, working at McDonald's?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevaba ella haciendo ese trabajo con usted en McDonald's?
Apenas empezaba.
She had just started.
And you said just started, days, weeks, months, do you know?
Dice que apenas había empezado días, semanas, meses.
Como unos
¿sabe?
meses, unos 6 meses.
Months, maybe 6 months.
Would you guys ride together to work? Or does she get herself to work? Or how does she get to work?
Ustedes iban juntas para el trabajo, ella llegaba al trabajo, ¿cómo llegaba ella al trabajo?
No, se iba conmigo.
She would come with me.
Did you know any of Susanna's friends named Kelly or Alyssa?
¿Usted conoció alguna de las amigas de Susana que se llamaban Kelly o Alisa?
No las conozco. A Kelly la había visto un par de veces, pero a Lisa no.
I didn't. Kelly I saw a few times, but Alyssa no.
Okay. And so, did you had met Kelly before?
¿Usted había conocido a Kelly anteriormente?
Sí.
And did Susanna spend time with or hang out with Kelly?
¿Susana pasaba tiempo o se juntaba con Kelly?
No,
No.
And do you know why that was?
¿Sabe por qué era eso?
yo no la dejaba.
I wouldn't allow her to.
Why wouldn't you allow her to?
¿Por qué no le se lo permití?
Porque a uno como padre, como madre, mira uno las amistades para los hijos.
Because as a parent or as a mother, you see what type of friends you want for your children.
Okay. Did you not approve of her friendship with Kelly?
¿Usted no aprobaba de la amistad entre ella y Kelly?
No mucho.
Not very much.
And did you ever allow her? Let me strike that and ask it a different way. Did you tell her she could not go out and hang out with Kelly?
¿Usted le dijo que ella no podía salir y pasar tiempo con Kelly?
Solo le dije una vez que no me gustaba.
I only told her once that I didn't like her.
Y ya nunca me dijo que iba para allá.
No, she never told me she was going to head that way.
On the night that this happened?
¿La noche que eso sucedió?
No, ella nunca me dijo. Ella dijo que iba con Esmeralda.
No, she never said it to me. She said she was going to Esmeralda's.
Okay, so I want to talk to you about that night, July 26th. Can you tell the jury about that whole day? What was going on that day, earlier in the day?
Quiero hablar con usted un poco acerca de ese día, del 26 de julio. ¿Le puede decir al jurado qué sucedió durante todo ese día?
Durante el día estuvimos juntas trabajando.
During the day, we were together working.
Cuando llegamos del trabajo como a las 4,
When we arrived home around 4,
ella se metió a bañar, yo me metí a cocinar ese día.
she went to take a shower and I went to cook.
Yo hice pescado ese día y
That day I cooked fish.
ella me dice que no quería pescado, que su amiga Esme la había invitado a comer alitas a su casa.
She told me she did not want fish. She told me that her friend Esmeralda had invited her to her house to eat wings.
And how far from your house is Esmeralda's house?
¿Qué tan lejos está su casa de la casa de Esmeralda?
Como 6 minutos.
About 6 minutes.
Is it 6 minutes if you're walking or driving?
Caminando.
6 minutos y va caminando, manejando.
Caminando.
Walking.
All right. And when Susanna told you that she wanted to go to Esmeralda's house, did you let her do that?
Susana le dijo que quería ir a la casa de Esmeralda. ¿Usted se lo permitió?
Sí.
Yes.
And how did, approximately what time did Susanna leave to go to Esmeralda's house?
Aproximadamente qué hora salió Susana para ir a la casa de Esmeralda?
A las 6.
At 6.
And did she walk? Did she drive? Did somebody pick her up?
Ella manejó, caminó, también la recogió.
Caminó.
She walked.
Did you see her leave?
Sí.
Yes.
And I can hear you whenever you say that, but please make sure you speak up loud so that the court reporter can take her down.
Okay.
Was that moment that she walked away from your house, was that the last time that you ever saw your daughter?
Ese momento, a medida que ella salía de su casa caminando, ¿fue la última vez que usted vio a su hija?
Sí.
Yes.
Can you tell the jury what happened throughout the night?
Después de que se fue Susana, yo como a los minutos después le llamé para ver si había llegado.
After Susana left, a few minutes later, I called her to see if she had arrived.
And
Al no contestó, le mandé un texto para preguntarle y me dijo que sí, que está.
Since she did not answer, I texted her and she replied yes, that she had arrived.
what time, if you remember, did you call or text her?
¿A qué hora, si recuerda, la llamó o le mandó el mensaje?
Pues luego, después de que después de unos 10 minutos pensando, tanteando la distancia que ya llegó ya.
It was after about 10 minutes. I was calculating the distance that she had to walk.
After she responded and texted you back, did you try to contact her again at any point that night?
Después de que ella le respondió, esa noche, ¿usted trató de contactarse con ella después de eso? ¿En otro momento?
Sí, como a las 9:40 le llamé para ir por ella.
I Yes, around 9:40, I called her so I could pick her up.
And around 9:40, you called her, is that what you said?
Alrededor de las 9:40, ¿usted la llamó?
Ujú, sí.
Yes.
Did you talk to her?
¿Habló con ella?
No, ella no me contestó.
No, she did not answer.
And what did you do at that point?
¿Qué hizo usted en ese momento?
Le llamé varias veces.
I called and called several times.
Did you ever hear any phone calls or text messages back from Susana?
¿Alguna vez en algún momento escuchó una llamada o mensajes de texto de regreso de Susana?
Nunca más.
Never again.
When you tell the jury what was going through your mind once you weren't hearing back from Susana.
Dígale al jurado qué estaba pasando por su mente cuando usted ya no supo más de Susana.
Yo llamé a su amiga Esmeralda.
I called her friend Esmeralda.
No me contestó, entonces llamé a su mamá.
She didn't answer, so I called her mom.
You called Esmeralda's mom?
¿La mamá de Esmeralda?
Sí,
Yes.
Okay. And did she answer?
¿Y ella le respondió?
sí.
Yes.
And what happened?
¿Qué pasó?
Me dijo que nunca llegó Susana ahí.
She said Susana never arrived there.
And had you believed that that whole time that Susana had been at Esmeralda's house?
¿Usted creía que todo ese tiempo Susana había estado en la casa de Esmeralda?
Sí.
Yes.
And once you found out that she wasn't, what did you think?
Cuando usted se dio cuenta que no había sido así, ¿qué pensó?
Pensé que vino a casa de otra amiga, llamé a Kaya.
Maybe I thought that maybe she
Pero
was.
ya estaba de noche y ya no me contestó porque tengo el teléfono de la mamá de Kaya, pero no me contestaron porque ya estaba de noche.
I thought that maybe she went to Kaya's house, so I called her. She did not answer, so I called her mom because I have her number, but they did not answer because it was late at night.
At what point did you think that something bad had happened?
¿En qué punto usted que algo malo había sucedido?
Después de que no me contestaba, yo pensé que algo le había sucedido porque ella siempre,
After she didn't answer, I thought something had happened because she always,
aunque ella su teléfono está apagado, me llamaba del teléfono de su amiga.
even if her phone was off, she would call me from her friends' phones.
And you received no phone calls or text messages from her?
No recibí ni llamadas ni mensajes de texto de ella.
Nada.
Nothing.
After you tried talking to Kaya, you tried calling and she didn't answer, what did you do?
Después de que usted trató de hablar con Kaya, de que trató de llamarla y no respondió, ¿qué hizo?
Estaba preocupada y yo no sabía ni el teléfono de su novio, no lo sabía.
I was worried. I didn't know her boyfriend's number. I didn't know it.
Pero esa misma noche Esmeralda me dio el teléfono de él, le llamé, pero tampoco sabía de él.
But that same night, Esmeralda gave me his number, and I called him, but he did not know anything.
So after talking to Esmeralda, you contacted Susana's boyfriend?
Entonces, después de hablar con Esmeralda, ¿se contactó el novio de Susana?
Sí,
Yes.
And he said he didn't know where she was?
¿Y él dijo que no sabía dónde estaba ella?
sí, él dijo que no sabía.
Yes, he said he did not know.
And that whole night, did you receive any information about where Susana had gone?
Durante esa noche, ¿usted recibió alguna información acerca de dónde había ido Susana?
No.
No.
Did you, that night, after she didn't come home, did you go look for her?
Esa noche, después de que ella no regresó a casa, ¿usted fue a buscarla?
Yo fui, pero ya estaba anoche, no. Ya fui como a las 6 de la mañana, el segundo día a la casa de unas amigas de ella del trabajo.
I did, but it was late at night, so I went the next morning around 6 a.m. I went to some of her friends from work to their house.
Okay. That kind of all night long, did you sleep at all or were you awake all night?
Durante esa noche, ¿usted durmió? En algún momento estuvo despierta toda la noche.
No pude dormir.
I was not able to sleep.
Before this, had Susana ever not come home or not told you where she was?
Antes de esto, Susana en algún momento no había regresado a casa o nunca le había dicho dónde estaba.
Nunca.
Never.
Sometimes teenagers don't get along with their parents and argue. Did Susana ever not come home because you two were arguing about things?
Susana en algún momento no regresó a casa porque ustedes dos estaban discutiendo acerca de cosas.
No.
No.
Did she ever run away from home where you didn't know where she was at?
¿Ella en algún momento huyó de casa al punto de usted no saber dónde estaba ella?
No.
No.
When she didn't call and she didn't text you that night and you didn't know where she was that out of character for her?
Cuando usted no sabía dónde estaba ella, ya no la llamó ni le mandó un mensaje, ¿eso estaba fuera del carácter de ella?
Ella que estuviera molesta o la regañara yo, siempre ella me contestaba o en texto o me contestaba.
Every time, even if she was mad at me or if I would get on to her, she would always answer, or if I texted her, she would reply.
Had Susanna ever been in trouble with you before?
No,
No.
ella era una buena niña. Como todas niñas, a veces uno los regaña porque uno no quiere que salgan o algo, se molestan.
She was a good girl. You know, sometimes you would get onto them for anything, and like any other girl, she would get upset.
Like any teenager, they don't always listen.
Como cualquier otro joven, no siempre escuchan.
Ujú.
Yes.
What kinds of things would you do if Susanna got in trouble? Would you take her phone away from her?
¿Qué clase de cosas hacía usted si Susana se metía en problemas? ¿Usted le quitaba el teléfono?
Sí, le quitaba el teléfono, la computadora y no la dejaba ir con sus amigos.
Yes, I would take her phone away, her computer, and I would not allow her to go see her friends.
And I assume, but I want to know from you, she didn't like that when you would do that, right?
Y asumo, pero lo quiero escuchar de parte suya. A ella no le gustaba cuando usted hacía eso, ¿correcto?
No,
No.
But even when you would take her phone away, take her computer away, or not let her go see friends, did she always let you know where she was at and talk to you, things like that?
Inclusive cuando usted le quitaba el celular o el computador o no le permitía ir a ver a sus amigas, ella siempre le decía dónde estaba y cosas así.
no salía porque pues estaba en la casa.
She wouldn't go out because she was at home.
I understand. Okay. At some point, did you decide to contact the police about Susanna not coming home?
¿En algún momento usted decidió contactar a la policía porque Susana no llegó a casa?
Sí.
Yes.
And can you tell the jury just a little bit about when that happened?
¿Le puedes decir al jurado un poquito acerca de cuándo sucedió eso?
Llamamos a la policía, fue al día siguiente,
That we called the police, it was the next day.
Do you remember around what time?
¿A qué hora más o menos?
como las 9.
Around 9.
In the morning?
Ujú.
Yes.
Did the police come and talk to you?
¿La policía vino a hablar con usted?
Sí,
Yes.
And when did the police do anything at that moment when they came out to look for her?
¿La policía hizo algo en ese momento? Cuando llegaron ahí, ¿hicieron algo como buscarla?
siempre van a esperar 78 horas, 48 horas por ahí, no me recuerdo.
They said they were going to wait 78 hours, 48 hours, somewhere around there, I don't remember.
Okay. And wait, did they say you were going to wait for? Wait for what?
¿Qué iban a esperar? ¿Esperar qué?
Para poder hacer un reporte, para poderla poner como desaparecida.
To be able to file a report, to be able to do it as a missing person.
Okay. You mentioned a moment ago that you went and looked for her around 6 in the morning.
¿Usted mencionó hace un momento que usted salió a buscarla alrededor de las 6 de la mañana?
Sí, yo
Yes.
salí.
I went out.
So, jury, where all you went to look for?
¿El jurado dónde fue a buscarla?
Allí, no me recuerdo exactamente, pero es por la misma hacienda donde viven unas compañeras de trabajo que a veces ellas también se juntaban.
I don't remember exactly, but it was around Singleton Road where some of my coworkers also live around there and they sometimes hung out.
Okay. And after going to those locations, did you find any information about where Susanna was?
Después de ir a varios lugares, ¿usted tuvo alguna información acerca de dónde estaba Susana?
No, hasta ese momento no.
Not until that time, no.
After you made the police report, did you and your family go looking and searching for Susanna in other places?
Después de que usted hizo ese reporte, ¿usted y su familia salieron a buscar a Susana en otros lugares?
Sí, la buscamos por toda la área de donde estaba su localización de teléfono, por los por la área de la high school, por el monte, todo eso.
Yes, we went out to look for her where her phone said she was around the high school, the woods.
And did you find any sort of evidence of her, Susanna?
¿Encontró algún tipo de evidencia de ella, de Susana?
La única evidencia que encontramos fue cuando iba de camino a casa del video que conseguimos.
The only evidence we found was of the video showing her walking home. We were able to get that.
Okay. You found that one video. Did you ask other places for video surveillance?
¿Usted encontró ese video? ¿Le pidió a otros establecimientos para que le entregaran videos de vigilancia?
Sí, pero no quisieron. Tenía que ser la policía que se los pidiera.
Yes, but they did not want to. It had to be the police to ask for them.
And how many times, just if you can give me an estimate, how many times did you go out and look for Susanna?
¿Y cuántas veces? Solo se me puede dar un estimado. ¿Cuántas veces salió usted a buscar a Susana?
Todos los días, todas las noches, durante 7 meses.
Every day, every night during for 7 months.
Did you ever find any sign of what happened to Susanna after she disappeared?
¿Alguna vez encontró alguna señal de lo que le había pasado a Susana después de que desapareció?
Solo llamadas que nos decían que la miraban. Y yo,
The only phone calls that we received of people telling us they saw her, and we would go.
Okay. So you would get phone calls from people with a tip and you would go look in those locations?
¿Usted recibía llamadas con señales de personas y usted iba a esas locaciones?
Sí,
Yes.
Did you ever find any evidence, any trace of Susanna in any of those places?
¿Alguna vez encontró evidencia, algún caso de Susana en esos lugares? Never.
Prior to Susanna's disappearance, did you ever know that she would smoke marijuana?
Antes de la desaparición de Susana, ¿usted tenía conocimiento de que ella fumaba marihuana?
sí.
Yes.
And how did you find out that she smoked marijuana?
¿Cómo se dio usted cuenta de que ella fumaba marihuana?
Porque me llamaron de la escuela.
So I got a phone call from the school.
And do you remember when that was?
¿Cuándo fue eso?
No,
No.
How do you know how often that Susanna would smoke marijuana?
¿Sabe qué tan seguido Susana fumaba marihuana?
solo cuando iba con sus amigas, que yo sepa. Una vez en mi casa la encontré en su zapato escondida, pero yo la tiré y le dije, la regañé.
Only when she would go see her friends, and she did it once at home, and then another time I found it in her shoe hidden. And I went to her for that.
But you talked to Susanna about it,
¿De eso?
Sí,
Yes.
and you said she would smoke it with her friends. Would that be the friends that you didn't want her to hang out with?
Usted dice que ella lo fumaba con sus amigas. ¿Eran las amigas con las que usted no quería que te pasara tiempo?
sí, porque yo después de eso yo vi videos y fotos.
Yes, because after that I saw videos and pictures.
Okay. And did you ever hear Susanna tell you, or anybody hear Susanna tell you that she did anything else other than marijuana?
¿Usted alguna vez escuchó a Susana o alguna otra persona decir que Susana fumaba cualquier otra cosa? ¿No era marihuana? No.
Did you continue to talk to the police department after Susanna disappeared?
¿Usted continuó hablando con el departamento de la policía después de que Susana desapareció?
Sí,
Yes.
Who would you talk to from the police department?
¿Con quién hablaba usted ahí en el departamento de policía?
con el sargento
The sergeant.
Sergeant Jet.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, did you speak to Sergeant Biggers?
Yes,
Sergeant Biggers?
sí.
Yes.
I know sometimes the names are hard.
Los nombres son difíciles.
And how often would you talk to him?
¿Qué tan seguido habla usted con él?
A veces todos los días le mandaba mensajes, yo, Jasmine, porque yo no sé escribir en inglés.
Almost every day I would send him text messages, either me or Jasmine, because I don't know how to write in English,
A ver si sabía alguna noticia o algo.
to see if he had any news or anything.
And so from the time that Susanna was taken, how long was it until you heard anything about them finding her body?
Desde el momento en que Susana fue llevada, ¿cuánto tiempo pasó hasta que usted supo que encontraron el cuerpo de ella?
¿Entendí?
I didn't understand.
How long was it from when Susanna disappeared to when the police found her body?
¿Cuánto tiempo pasó desde el momento en que Susana desapareció hasta que la policía encontró su cuerpo?
Casi 7 meses.
Almost 7 months.
When did you find out that the police located her?
¿Usted cuándo se dio cuenta de que la policía la había localizado?
En febrero, no me acuerdo el día exacto, la fecha exacta.
In February. I don't remember the day exactly or the exact date.
And how did you find out?
¿Cómo se dio cuenta?
Fue la detective Angela,
It
el sargento y otro.
was the detective Angeli, the sergeant, and someone else.
So Detective Carter came and told you?
¿El detective Carter vino y le dijo?
Sí,
Yes.
What went through your mind at that moment when you heard?
¿Qué pasó por su mente en ese momento cuando escuchó?
no quería eso. Yo no quería esa noticia.
I did not want that note, those news.
Yo la esperaba
I was waiting for her.
y la sigo esperando.
I'm still waiting for her.
Lori, would you like some water?
Gracias.
Thank you.
Can I ask you, how long do you remember? I'm asking different questions. When you heard that the police had charged the defendant with the crimes, did you know him?
Cuando usted se enteró de que la policía había formalizado cargos en contra del acusado, ¿usted lo conocía? No.
Had you ever seen him before?
¿Alguna vez lo había visto?
No,
No.
Did your daughter, did Susanna ever mention to you or talk to you about the defendant?
¿Susana alguna vez se lo mencionó? ¿Habló con usted acerca del acusado?
no.
No.
During the period of time before the police found Susanna, did you ever notice anybody outside of your home following you or parked in front of your home that was suspicious to you?
Durante el tiempo que estuvieron buscando el cuerpo de Susana o antes de eso, ¿usted alguna vez vio alguna persona o algo sospechoso hacia afuera de su casa?
Todo se me hacía sospechoso.
Everything was suspicious.
Were you keeping an eye out, looking for things that might be suspicious?
¿Usted mantenía pendiente de cualquier cosa que fuera sospechosa? Sí. Yes.
Did you ever notice any black trucks parked in front of your home or around your home and following you?
¿Usted alguna vez notó camionetas negras estacionadas al frente de su casa, cerca de su casa o siguiéndola a usted?
Siguiendo no, pero rondando a veces sí.
Following me, no, but driving around, yes.
Driving around where?
No, pasaba a veces una troca, como que bajaba la velocidad. Una vez le dije yo a mi yerno y a mi hija, le digo yo, eso está sospechoso. Pues a mí yo siempre andaba así, como con desconfiando de todo.
It was one time, sometimes a truck would drive by and slow down. And one day I told my son-in-law and my daughter, I said, that's suspicious, but to me, everything was suspicious.
Maria, at this point, I think those are all the questions I have for you. Ms. Drake may have some for you, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Approach.
Y'all do know when they approach the bench, when the attorneys approach talk to the judge, they mute it. So that's why you don't hear anything.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, at this time, we're going to take our lunch break. I am going to ask that you stay together, eat in the jury dining room, and Gwinnett County will pay for your lunch at the cafeteria. So we're going to take about an hour break. And we will see you at about, hopefully we can get started at 1:10. Okay. Thank you.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna fast forward it. Anybody got any questions in the chat? Thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. I hope everyone hit the like button. Anybody got any questions about anything we've heard so far? Y'all let me know right quick. If not, we're gonna keep moving. I'm gonna fast forward it. Anybody got any questions? Y'all put a one in the chat if y'all can at least hear me. Let me know y'all can hear. Let me know real fast now. Well, actually, I'm gonna start it back up. Y'all just let me know in the chat y'all can hear.
And I want to remind everyone in the courtroom that you cannot.
Thank you, Fawn. Appreciate that. Thank you, Marge. All right, here we go, y'all. Y'all remember if y'all got any questions and want me to stop it and answer any questions, y'all just stop me, okay? If not, we're gonna keep it rolling so we can catch up. This is for those that don't know, this is Susanna's mother testifying right now.
get up and exit or enter the courtroom except in between witnesses or on breaks when I'm off the bench. That is because the constant slamming of the back doors, people in and out, distract the jury, and it could impair the defendant's right to.
Well, fine, you. Yeah, you weren't here when we started this. Were you here in the I don't, were you in the initial live? Because we just started this case. Were you in the live on y'all, when did I start this case? On Friday? I think it was on Friday. So so was you here in that live, Fun? All right, so let me get you caught up. This is the case of the state of Georgia versus, I keep forgetting that dude's name. Hold on. Because I just don't want to remember his name. Hold on, Fonberry. What is my, hold on. Give me a second. All right, I'm back, y'all. I'm back. Okay, so fine. This is the case of the state of Georgia versus Miles Bryant. He is he was in the Army, and then he became a police officer. He was a sheriff, and then he became a police officer. I'll catch the replay to catch up, don't hold. Oh, that's okay. I'm just going to give you a cute little synopsis or whatever. So what had happened was, he's charged with unaliving Susanna Morales. No, I can't say her name, Morales. Y'all know what it is. But anywho, so Miles Bryant was 23. Susanna was 16. He's accused of unaliving her. Well, actually kidnapping her and unaliving her. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you got any questions, Fawn, just let me know. Now, I don't know when you came in this particular live, but that was her mom up on the stand testifying. She was the first witness, and I think that's pretty much it. I think you can pretty much catch up from that. If not, let me know. Okay. All right, here we go.
A fair trial. Any matters from the state that I need to address, other than the rules of sequestration, which is now in effect? How about from the defense?
No, ma'am. Would you prefer if I be seated when the jury comes in?
Yeah.
It's okay. All right, Patty, if you can bring the jury in. Good afternoon. I hope y'all had a good lunch. We had finished the state's first witness direct, and now the defense may have some cross.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Buenas tardes.
We haven't officially met. My name is Tracy Drake,
No nos hemos conocido oficialmente. Mi nombre es Tracy Drake.
and I'm terribly sorry for your loss, and I appreciate you being here today.
Terriblemente siento mucho su pérdida y aprecio mucho que usted esté aquí.
I just have a couple of questions to ask you,
Solo tengo unas cuantas
and then you can leave. You indicated that you did not approve of Kelly.
Usted dijo que usted no aprobaba a Kelly.
Why was that?
¿Por qué era eso?
Como lo dije al principio, hay ciertas amistades que a uno como madre, como padre no les gustan a vuestros hijos.
Like I said in the beginning, there's certain friendships that as parents, we just don't like for our children.
And you had communicated that to your daughter, that she was not to hang around her.
¿Y usted le había comunicado eso a su hija de que no debía pasar tiempo con ella?
Sí.
Yes.
When you called to make sure that she made it to Esmeralda's house, she texted you back, correct?
Cuando usted llamó para asegurarse de que ella había llegado a la casa de Esmeralda, ella le mandó un mensaje de texto de regreso, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
And she also told you in that same text that her phone was dying and didn't have a lot of power left.
Y en ese mismo mensaje de texto, ella también le dijo que el celular se le estaba muriendo y que no tenía mucha batería.
Sí.
Yes.
That night, when you called sometimes I cut Esmeralda short to Esme, but Esmeralda's mother, Esmeralda died on the phone as well, right?
Esa noche cuando usted habló con Esmeralda, a veces corto su nombre y solo digo Esme. Esa noche cuando usted llamó a la mamá de Esmeralda, Esmeralda también estaba en el teléfono, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
And you later found out that Esmeralda knew where your daughter had gone.
Usted después se dio cuenta de que Esmeralda sabía dónde se había ido su hija.
Sí, en el día siguiente me di cuenta.
Yes, the next day I found out.
She did not tell you that night when you called at all.
Esa noche que usted la llamó, esa noche que usted llamó, ya usted no supo eso.
De que no había ido a su casa, no supe esa noche.
That she had not gone to her house? No, I didn't find out that night.
I believe that the state asked you this question, so I apologize if you've already answered it.
Creo que el Estado ya le hizo esta pregunta, entonces le pido disculpas si ya la respondió.
Do you remember telling Detective Carter that you thought your daughter was addicted to pot?
¿Usted recuerda haberle dicho al detective Carter que usted pensaba que su hija era adicta a la marihuana?
No.
No.
Do you remember giving an interview on January the 17th of 2023?
¿Usted recuerda haber llevado a cabo una entrevista el 17 de enero del 2023?
No recuerdo las fechas exactas.
I don't remember the exact dates.
Would it help refresh your recollection if you had a chance to view that video?
¿Le ayudaría a refrescar su memoria si tuviera la oportunidad de ver ese video?
Hay muchos, no sé cuál sería.
There's many of them, I don't know which one it would be.
Okay, we'll take care of that later on. We'll just move on.
Adelante hacemos eso. Vamos a proceder.
Did you or your daughter, to your knowledge, find Susanna's diary?
¿Usted o su hija, hasta donde usted sabe, encontraron el diario de Susana?
Sí.
Yes.
Was that turned over to Detective Carter or another police officer?
¿Eso se le entregó al detective Carter o a otro oficial de la policía?
No.
No.
You stated earlier that Susanna never ran away.
Usted declaró anteriormente que Susana nunca huía de la casa.
But
Yes.
isn't it true that you told Detective Carter that sometimes she would run away?
Pero no es cierto que usted le dijo al detective Carter que ella a veces huía.
Nunca he oído. No.
She's never run away. No.
You don't remember saying that?
No recuerdo. No recuerdo.
I don't remember.
She would leave for extended periods of time when she got upset about something, though.
Ella se iba por periodos de tiempo largos a la vez cuando se molestaba por algo.
No, nunca.
No, never.
She never left the home.
Nunca
No.
salió de la casa.
Sí salía, pero con permiso.
She would leave, but with my permission.
And how again did you find out that she was smoking pot?
¿Y cómo fue que usted se dio cuenta una vez más que ella estaba fumando marihuana?
Me llamaron de la escuela.
I got a call from the school.
Did she get in trouble at school?
¿En la escuela se metió en problemas?
No, solo fumaron.
Just open.
She never got suspended from school?
¿Nunca la suspendieron de la
Sí,
escuela?
la suspendieron una vez.
And I'm gonna ask you to wait until the interpreter gives you the question in Spanish and answer in Spanish. You're answering the English question, and I just want to make sure you completely understand the question.
I'm sorry, Judge.
Yeah,
You stated earlier that Susanna would always answer the phone if you called her. Didn't answer multiple times prior to 10 o'clock that evening, correct?
Sí.
Yes.
Did she have a curfew?
¿Ya tenía un horario para estar en casa? ¿De qué?
Así, pero siempre le dejaba una hora más. No había un horario exacto que regresara.
Yeah.
Let me see what's going on. All right, let's see.
Pero antes de las 11.
Yes, but there was not always. Sometimes I would allow her another extra time, but it was always before 11.
Just a moment, please.
Sure.
I do have one more question. The black truck that you saw driving around, did you ever see the driver of that truck?
La camioneta negra que usted vio rondando o manejando por los alrededores, ¿usted alguna vez vio a la persona dentro de esa camioneta?
No.
I can have just a moment,
Sure.
Aaron, please. Thank you, ma'am, very much. I appreciate you.
May we release this witness?
Your Honor, she is currently under my subpoena as well, and I may recall her since she didn't remember some statements. Stay in.
Okay. Ma'am, you are not allowed to stay in the courtroom because you're still under subpoena. Okay, and don't talk to anyone about your testimony. Okay, thank you.
I think that's messed up.
Judge,
What y'all think about that? Well, it is part of courtroom procedure that if you're gonna testify, you can't sit in the courtroom. That's why when she came in earlier, she came in from the outside, and since the defense also has her testifying for them, which I got a feeling they're gonna come back and debunk what she said, because she said that she didn't tell the detective that Susanna had run away before. So I'm thinking they're gonna show evidence that she did. But anywho, since they have her under subpoena and she has to testify for the defense, she cannot sit in the she can't sit in the courtroom. So if for those that can type, I know y'all probably can't type too tough. But what do you think about that? Wouldn't you, if you were in her position and you was the mom, would you prefer to sit in the courtroom and listen to testimony, or you would be okay with not being in the courtroom? Because she can't stay in that courtroom until the defense calls her as their witness, which means she's gonna miss pretty much every witness for the prosecution. She's gonna miss all that testimony. So for anybody that can type in the chat, let me know how you would feel about that. All right, here we go, y'all.
Certainly.
call the next witness.
See, so Rhea said I'm not sure. So Fawn, this is the thing, like, let's be clear, to sit in the courtroom and listen to the testimony, it's probably gonna be hard. It will probably be hard. But for me, I would want to listen. I would want to be in there and listen to the testimony, even though it's hard to sit through and listen to and everything like that. But me, I would want to listen to the testimony. So in a way, she's kind of being spared of a lot of things that's going to be said as far as witnesses. But I think for me, I would prefer to be there. I know for me, I would prefer to be. I'm going to acting up. You've been doing good. Now don't act up. They're on mute, y'all. That's why you don't hear anything. The attorneys are talking to the judge. Whenever the attorneys talk to the judge, they mute the mic. I want to act up. I would want to listen also. Yeah, Candy. I think that was good. Yeah.
Would you bring the witness back in? Thank you.
So for some reason they bringing the mom back in.
I still have my interpreter. Ma'am, you can just stay there. Ma'am, I misunderstood the defense request. You are allowed to stay in the courtroom. All right, state court second witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state is going to call Jasmine Britt.
Chair, out in the hall. Good afternoon. If you'll remain standing, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please be seated. Have you ever testified before, ma'am?
Yeah.
Okay, these microphones are here. Everyone has to hear your answer, so I'm asking you to move closer. My court reporter Sheila right here, she's taking everything down, so she can't tell if you say uh-huh. So I might say, is that a yes or is that a no? Because we want to get an accurate record, okay? Thank you.
Good afternoon. Your Honor.
Afternoon, good.
Could you go ahead and introduce yourself, please, to the jury?
Yes, my name is Jasmine. Susanna was my sister.
And Jasmine, what's your last name?
Perez.
And Susanna was your sister, so give me your family, not your entire family tree, but who's your immediate family?
I would be just my mom, my older sister, and my Susie. Just us three. Well, now it's more because, I got married, but
Okay.
back then, yeah, it was just us three.
All right, so the family's expanding, but originally it's your mother,
Mhm.
and that's the Maria
Yes.
lady who just testified.
Yes, sorry.
You have two sisters, so tell me about your older sister.
My older sister, we're about 5 years apart, if I'm not mistaken. I was a little more closer with Susie because we still used to live together at the time. We were 23 years apart. Yes.
So you and you call her Susie.
Susie.
Susanna. So you and Susie, what's the age difference?
3 years.
3 years. So this occurred 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago, July 2026. At that time, how old was Susie?
16.
And how old were you?
19.
And at the time that that the incident here in this case occurred, where were you living at?
I had already moved out, but I lived like 2 minutes away, like down the street.
Okay. And were you living by yourself or
Yes, I was renting a room.
Sorry?
I was renting a room, sorry.
Renting a room. And just roommates, or you said let me ask you differently. You're married now.
Yes, I'm married now.
Okay. And when did you get married?
September of that year.
2022.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry if you hear me. I cannot remember. It was a year ago.
Okay.
It was a year ago.
Last year.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. Is that a yes? Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
It's all right.
It's
not a problem.
okay. It's all right.
And of course, as we go through these questions that I have for you, if you don't understand anything, just you can let me know.
Yes.
And there's also some water right here if you need some
Thank you
water,
so much.
okay?
People don't feel free to just grab it and pour it while we're talking, but you can go ahead and grab it. If you want to grab some now, you can.
I think I'm okay. Thank you.
All right. So you, how long before Susie was taken did you move out of your mother's home?
It had been only like a month or 2 months.
Now, prior to that, so you were kind of just freshly out on your own at that point? Prior to
Yes.
that, had you grown up in the home with your mother, with Susie, there in the house?
Yes.
How would you describe your relationship with Susie?
Well, I mean, like us sisters, we didn't have a perfect relationship. We would fight a lot. But as far as I can tell for her, she was a prankster of the family, the jokester. She was the one that would always make us laugh. If we were sad, she was the one that crack out a joke or make sure that we're okay. She had the most beautiful smile. And an amazing voice.
Did she like to sing?
All the time.
And what kind of things would she do for fun?
She was really into her self-care. So she always doing trying new hairstyles, doing her makeup. She going out with her friends. She was playing the piano. She learned a few songs already, and she was starting to play the guitar as well.
How often would you speak to? And I say speak. I'm not huge on texting. I don't do it a lot. but I do text. So I mean, talking to you on the phone, texting on the phone, messaging on social media platforms, and seeing her in person, kind of everything combined. How often would you interact with your sister Susie?
After I had moved out, maybe like once or twice a week.
And before that, before you had moved out a month or two before, you see her every day?
Yeah, I was here every day.
You feel like you knew her pretty well?
I would say so, yes.
And you know, I think we all can make assumptions about sisters. I have 3 of them, and so I know them pretty well. You said that, like all sisters, you didn't get along. Sometimes you argue. Just about sisterly things, things around the house.
She would take my makeup.
She would take your makeup. Okay. And around the time of when Susie was taken, how was her? You talked to her about once or twice a week. That time. What was her? Use the word demeanor. But I'll change it. How was she acting? Was she happy? Was she sad? How was she feeling?
I can tell she was happy. She was starting to go out with her boyfriend, Axel. So every time I would come over to the house where I was just talking, and I would be like, who are you talking to? She would be like, I'm not gonna tell you. And then I would make her tell me, and then we would just like say hi over the phone. But she seemed happy.
Okay. So initially, when the relationship was new with Axel, she kind of kept it to herself. But then,
But I knew.
you're a sister, so you have like a sisterly intuition about things. So, did y'all talk about boys often?
When I would notice maybe she was talking, I would always ask her, and she would end up telling me. After like I was like, just tell me, but she would end up telling me.
I want to kind of move into July 26th of 2022. That day, do you recall that day? Okay. And I know it's difficult to talk about it, so if we need to take any break or anything like that, we can. Tell the jury kind of the first thing that happened that day that was odd in relation to this case. Let's just kind of disappear.
The only thing that it was my mom called me. I think I was already sleeping around that time, but she called me at night asking me if I had heard from Susie because she wasn't answering any of her texts or phone calls. And at that time, I really didn't think anything bad. I told her, it's okay. Let's just wait for tomorrow. Maybe her phone died, or maybe she fell asleep at her friend's house. That's what happened that night.
And do you have any recollection about what time approximately that was?
I would say from 10 to 11. I can't say for sure what time.
That's all right. So after you got the call, what did you weren't overly concerned at that point?
I wasn't.
About anything. What did you do after the phone call with your mother?
I do believe I tried calling her, and then when she didn't respond, I texted my mom back. She didn't answer me.
Did you receive any other calls or texts from anybody about Susie that night?
No.
Did any of her friends reach out to you in some way and say, anything about Susie?
That night, no.
Okay. So after you talked to your mother that night, just kind of walk us through what the rest of your night looked like.
I was already asleep, so I think I just fell back asleep.
And what was the next thing that happened in relation to your sister disappearing?
The next thing, I went to work the next day around 6 a.m. So I remember that morning, like 2 hours into my shift, I believe, my mom called me. She's like, hey, Susie still hasn't come back home. I'm worried. And that's when I also started to get worried. So I told her just to give me a couple minutes. I'm going to talk to my bosses to see if they can let me go home. Because we wanted to make a police report. I was like, okay, wait for me. I'm about to be there. And I left, and that's when we called 911.
Okay. And what kind of work do you do?
At that time, I worked at a warehouse.
At a warehouse?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So once you left, where did you go in order to file the police report?
We called it at my mom's house.
So you went to your mother's house. Did y'all just call like 911 at
Yes,
that point?
911.
And where did you meet the officers at?
In the driveway at our house.
Who all was present when the police showed up there?
It was my mom, Axel, and me.
And approximately what time, if you recall, did the police show up to take that report?
I can't say for sure, but I think 9 a.m. from 10 a.m.
Okay. So in the morning hours the next morning.
Yes.
Now, by that time, what information did you have about where Susie was at?
I can't recall exactly how it happened, but I know at that time we already had the screenshots to the Live 360 about her on the way home, and then all of a sudden moving directions, and then the crash alert. We did have that, just those screenshots.
Okay. And how did you get those screenshots?
I can't say if Kaya sent them to me or my mom sent it to me because Kaya sent it to her.
Okay. And did you know? You say Kaya. Who is Kaya?
One of her best friends.
Now, did you know Kaya?
Yes.
All right. And how did you know her?
Well, Susie would bring her to the house. That's how I met her. And then sometimes we would all go out together, or they would ask me to take them somewhere. I would just give them a ride.
Did you have Kaya's phone number? Did she have your phone number?
Yes,
So she could have sent you these text messages.
she could have.
The screenshots of Live
Yes.
had you talked to your mother or anybody else about the night before where Susie was going or where she ended up going?
No, just my mom.
I'm sorry?
You're asking if anybody else like knew where she went?
Well, by the time you called the police, the next morning when you showed up to the house and the police get called, had you talked to your mother or anybody else to learn where more information, right, about where Susie was supposed to go the night before or where she actually went?
I think Axel. I asked Axel because I know I did go pick him up and he was there with us for the police report. So I believe I asked him. I'm not sure. I can't remember if I did ask Esmeralda or Kaya or if my mom asked them on behalf of me. I'm not sure.
I understand. So Axel, and who is Axel?
Susan's boyfriend.
Her boyfriend? Okay. Now, you went and picked him up and brought him back to your mother's house. And so he was present along with you and your mother when you called the police.
Yes.
What was at that point when you talked to the police and made reports, did you speak mostly with the police?
Yes, I do.
Now, did you interpret for your mother?
Yes.
Now, and at that time, what was your understanding of where Susie had been the night before?
Well, that day we learned that she didn't go to Esmeralda's house like she had asked or told my mom she was going to. She went to Kelly's house instead. And we found out because of the Life 360.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may, at this point, before we go any further, if I could just have a continuing objection,
Certainly.
that way I'm not interrupted.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
You said that you've gone to Kelly's house and you knew that because of the Life 360.
Yes.
Okay, and what do you mean by that? How did you know that because of Life 360?
Because I know Esmeralda lives in the neighborhood right in front of us and she went to the apartment complex another way.
So once you made the report, did you tell the police all of this information that you're sharing with us? Did you tell the police that?
Yes. Yes.
What did you and your family do at that point?
At that point, since we knew where we imagined she would have walked, we started walking that same area and we talked to like any stores that are like on that street. And we also passed duplexes as well. So we were looking for cameras for like the rings. So we're just trying to get to see if anybody had seen her. So that's what we were doing that the following day.
But you said, bring on 1 minute, I want to grab this board over here.
Let me take this opportunity. All cell phones must be turned off. The deputies will collect cell phones if the people in the courtroom cannot abide by that rule. I just heard a cell phone go off. Sorry, Mr. Delphont.
Respond to that, please.
Certainly.
May I approach the witness?
Absolutely.
I'm going to show you. I've marked this as State's Exhibit number 32. And I'll publish it here in a moment to everybody and hopefully turn it. But this State's Exhibit number 32, do you recognize what is depicted here?
Yes.
All right. And what is it?
It's the road where we live on and the road where the Life 360 was going towards.
Okay. Is this kind of a map of the general area around where you live and some of the events in this
Yes.
it happened?
Yes.
All right. Is it a fair and accurate map or depiction of the area?
Yes.
Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit.
Okay, so she had 2 sets of friends, right? From like most teenagers, right? She had 1 set of friends that her mom approved of. And then she had another set of friends that her mom did not like her hanging out with, right? The night she left home, she told her mom she was going to hang out with the 1 set of friends who the mom approved of and didn't mind her going to see. She told her she was going to see her, but she didn't. She went to the set of friends' house that her mom didn't approve of. So yeah, she did tell her mom she was going one place, but she went to another place.
Exhibit number 32 in the evidence.
No objection.
Okay, State's Exhibit 32 is admitted without objection.
And just, may I publish to the jury?
Yes, you may.
I'm going to, y'all find stay right there. I'm going to get you the numbers back.
And if any jurors need to stand up,
And I also have to tell you this, Fawn, because we learned this in the beginning and you probably missed it. This guy was a courtesy officer in an apartment complex. The set of friends that Susanna went and saw that night stayed in the apartment complex where this guy lives and works. Because, you know, normally with courtesy officers, apartment complexes, they courtesy officer stays on the premises. Where Susanna went that night to go see those friends, he stays in that apartment complex.
or coming to the well, meaning outside of your box to see this, just raise your hand. We'll make arrangements for you to be able to see this.
All right, now, and actually, because this is going to be really difficult to do, no matter how I arrange this, is it all right with the court and with you to step down and with you to show some things on here for me? Is that all right with the court?
Absolutely. I'm gonna ask my bailiffs to reposition themselves to maybe the front row. Or that, yeah, that'll be fine in front of the door. Thank you.
Perfect, right there. Here's the different right here. All right, now, I just want you to, maybe I'll switch with you. You can stand over here. I just want you to point out a few things to the jury. Would you identify on this map, what roadways, what are the major roadways here that we're looking at?
Ma'am, I'm gonna ask you to speak up because you don't have a microphone and my court reporter needs to make sure she gets down your testimony, okay?
Singleton Road, State Reynolds, and then Indian Trail. Those are the main roadways.
And can you point out to the jury where it is that Susanna and your mother lived at the time? Okay, and you're pointing there, and it's actually labeled in red as Susanna Morales at home. Is that
Mr.
correct?
Delphine, I want to ask you to move back, the juror,
Oh,
right there. I just want to make sure that juror can see.
I'm trying to
I know.
get this available for everybody here. All right. Everybody see? Okay. Where in relation to the home, if you used to live in that same home?
Yes.
Okay, so your old home, where in relation to that is the apartment complex, the Sterling Glen apartment complex where Kelly lived at?
So I know there's, if I'm not wrong, this is the exit way, and then here's the entrance way, so all these apartments right here.
So this area right here on the map, that's got labels for Kelly Pagoda home and Miles Ryan home, that's the apartment complex?
Yes.
A moment ago, you testified that you and your family started going around, look on the way she walked home,
Yes.
looking at the way she walked home. Can you show the jury how she would have walked from, or how anybody would have walked from Sterling Glen Apartments back to your home or your mother's home on Santa Ana Drive?
So we weren't sure which way she would take it, but we did walk from the exit way, because this is only a one-way entrance, so this is the only way in. We can go out, but this is the exit, so we walked all this right here. So we weren't sure if she left through here or she did the whole,
Okay, and just so I can be a little bit more descriptive here, this apartment complex, does it has a main entrance?
yes, that's an entrance.
All right, so can you enter and exit from that main entrance?
Yes.
All right, and where is that, can you point out to the jury where that's located, the main entrance?
Mr. Delphine. Mr. Delphine.
Right here. So that's on Indian Trail Road, that main entrance?
Yes.
All right, so then you said there was another exit way, you said it was an exit only, and point out to the jury where that's at.
It's right here, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, and you're pointing at, is that on Singleton Road?
Yes.
Okay, so you said that you weren't sure which way Susanna would have taken home at the time. So did you, what areas did you walk to look for things?
We walked all this road right here. There's a lot of grass. Maybe we saw anything on personal belongings, and we did go to some apartments as well.
Okay, now you said you went to the apartments. When you got to the apartments, where did you go or what did you look for?
Everywhere we would ask everybody around if they seen her, we would just walk around, see if they see anything. We weren't really sure what was going on, so we decided to look anywhere. Especially where the people, it's a restaurant. No, it's a grocery store, so we always look there.
So at the apartment complex, is this the next morning or the next day that y'all are walking these areas?
It was that same day we walked.
Okay, how many folks do you think you spoke to in the apartment complex asking if they've seen anything?
I can't recall, but I know anybody that would talk to us if we asked.
And sometimes it's helpful to give kind of a range or something, but you think it was more than 10 or more than 50?
More than 10.
More than 10, okay. Now, did you also, so you looked obviously, you pointed earlier at Singleton Road that you kind of walked down. Did you end up walking from like the Windscape Village, the main entrance here on Indian Trail, up to Singleton in this area here?
I don't think we walked, but I know we drove.
Okay.
But we did walk right here, because I know that's where the last location being. So we did walk out through it and went into the forest to see if we saw any of the belongings as well.
Okay, now this over here, and you pointed, there's obviously labels on this already, but would you show the jury, when you received the Life 360 screenshots, what was it indicating about Susanna's location?
That she could have been there, but it mostly didn't that her phone died there, and it indicated there that first there was a crash.
Where that crash over? Okay.
There was two screenshots, I believe, one pinpoint right here and one pinpoint more into, but I can't say for sure if it's accurate. But we did ask all those buildings right here.
Okay. Understood. So you're in the buildings you're talking about here, there's a label for O'Clock Trace. Is that the area you're talking about? All right. Now, you and your family also went and canvassed that area?
Yes.
Okay. And again, just best that you can remember, ballpark kind of, how many people did you speak to in that area?
Probably around 10 or more as well.
And in talking to people at both locations, the Sterling Glen Apartments and here, did you receive any information from anybody, any leads as to where her location was? Okay. You also mentioned Food Depot. I think you pointed out this building over here, and I'm going to get back out of the way. But this building over here, that's a grocery store that's there on Singleton Road. What was? Did you go there?
Yes, we went there. We put flyers all around this area. All around the Food Depot. This is the Checkers. So we go everywhere putting the flyers.
And did you go to all the businesses kind of up and down there looking for information?
Yes.
Did you ask them anything about video?
Yes, we did. That's where we got the camera footage on this place.
Right. And you're pointing at that place. What is that place?
It's an academy. I think it's a daycare and also for old people.
Okay. So,
I don't know the right term.
so it's you think maybe a daycare, but they also might take care of elderly people as well.
I think so, yes.
But that business, you obtained video footage from that business? All right. Were you able to obtain video footage from other business other than that one? Did you attempt to? Did you try?
Yes, Checkers, we tried, but they said they needed law enforcement to go, so we did let the lieutenant at the time know. And a couple of these duplexes right here had Ring cameras, I believe one of these did, and then the duplex right here as well. And I remember one of the cameras here as well had that house had cameras, but they weren't home at the time, so I didn't even know, but they didn't get back home, so we figured.
Okay. And when you say weeks later, is that an issue as it relates to the footage?
It was gonna let them know, and it's a big camera storage.
Your Honor, I'm going to object.
I'm going to sustain that objection.
Okay. Let me ask you a different one. Are you familiar with those kind of devices? Are you familiar with any kind of, I use the term retention period, but what I mean is how long those devices keep and store video footage?
Your Honor, again, I'm going to object. There's no foundation that there is a definitive timeframe or that it cannot be manipulated manually by the owner of the ringtone.
I'll hear. I think she's saying that this witness does not have the expertise,
What
I believe, is what you're saying.
I'm not really sure what her objection is, Judge.
Okay.
But what I'm asking the witness is, in her personal experience, does she have any idea how long videos stay on the Ring camera? I think if she knows the answer to that, she can answer it. I mean, certainly if somebody saves it or does something different, that's going to be a different answer. That's not what I'm asking her. I'm
She
asking.
knows.
I don't know her personally, but her reply wasn't a ring, it was just like a camera, an outside camera.
Okay. All right. And so do you have any idea or knowledge about what kind of camera that was or sort of?
I'm not the brand, no, I don't.
Did you ever get any other video footage from anyone other than the one from PBIT? Okay. I have more questions for you, but I think that's all I have for the rest of this chart right now. So if you want, you can have a seat back on the stand. So that day, we've talked about the looking and the canvassing that you and your family did. After that, did you participate in any other attempts to locate Susie?
Yes, we did hang around flyers around that certain area, but we also looked at the main intersection, like the busiest places near us. So it would be like Jimmy Carter up by the high school, Meadow Creek. So we would go around with either the flyers, but we also made like this poster that you have right here. We would put her picture there missing, and so we would just like stand at the intersection and just hold it up for everybody to see. So we would do that several times a day.
So you would stand either in the middle of the intersection, not in the middle, but kind of on the side of the intersection?
Yes, like at the cross part, the cross points, we would stand right there.
Did anybody ever reach out to you or to you and call a random stranger, call and say they've seen Susie anywhere?
Yeah, a lot.
How many different calls do you think you got?
From that first day, it was like about 10 a day or more at all hours.
Any idea in total how many times people called you and said we've seen her here or there?
More than 100.
Did you and your family ever follow up on those?
None of them that we could, that were like in our hands. So yes, we did.
Did you ever, when you went and looked at it, did you ever find anything related to Susie's disappearance?
No.
Did you ever tell the police about those?
Yes, every single one.
Okay. So every time you got a call, you would relay that to the police?
Yes.
Okay. And who was at the time in the initial part of the investigation? Who was the police officer that you would talk to?
At the time, Sergeant Biggers.
I want to show you what is marked as State's Exhibits 18, 18.1, 18.2, 18.3, 18.4, 18.5, and 18.6. Do you take a look at them? And after you've looked at them, let me know if you recognize them.
Yes.
Okay, how do you recognize them?
Under the screenshots to Life 360.
Okay, now, very generally, the screenshots of Life 360, are these the screenshots of Life 360 that you received the morning after Susie disappeared?
Yes.
Okay. Do these photographs here appear to be fair and accurate representations of the screenshots you received of the Life 360 notifications?
Yes.
All right. You know, I'm going to move to admit at this time State's Exhibits 18 through 18.6.
Okay, any other objections? Okay. States 18.1 through 18.6 are admitted without objection, except the continuing objection is on the record.
For the record, because I labeled things a little differently, I had it as 18 and then 18.1 through 18.6.
Sorry about that.
Not a problem, I just want to make
So,
sure.
18.0 through 18.6 are admitted without objection, except for the continuing objection.
Also, I'll show you a few other things. I'm going to let Ms. Trixie do these first.
Do you need some water?
Okay, thank you.
Now, may I have permission to publish 18 through 18.6?
Yes.
And if you can, could you go ahead and publish number 18?
And is the glare bothering any of the jurors? I can turn that light. It's right over the video. Everybody can see? Okay.
This out of the way, just so it doesn't block anything. Now, is it possible to zoom in on that? There we go. All right. This is State's Exhibit number 18. Jasmine, can you see this?
Yes.
You also have a screen to your right. It might be able to
Okay.
you to look at as well. This screenshot, did you receive this screenshot the next morning after Susie disappeared?
Yes, I did.
All right, and what is this? I have never used Life 360, so you'll have to forgive me. There's a lot of technology that I haven't used before, but can you explain to the jury kind of what we're looking at here on this screenshot?
It's just an approximate time that she was at a certain place. So it says 7:28 to 9:58.
All right, so let's say that a little. You say this is a approximation of, all right, I'm sorry. Can you say it again? I'm not trying.
It's an approximate time that she was at a certain location.
Okay, approximate time. What was the, on here, what is the documented time of this screenshot?
7:28 to 9:58
Does it indicate AM or PM?
p.m. on both.
Okay, so this is the evening of July 26th,
Yes.
2022, 7:28 to 9:58 PM. And what location is it that is referenced on this screenshot?
It's pinging on Sterling Glen Apartments.
Is that the Sterling Glen Apartments?
I'm not sure that's the name.
Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
Yes, that's what I said.
Okay, fantastic. Sterling Glen Apartments. Even if you're not sure that's the name, let me ask you, is this the apartment complex that we were looking at and we've been talking about where Kelly lives and where you guys went and canvassed?
Yes.
Okay. And if we could go to the next one, 18.1. Just a little bit.
Your Honor, would the court mind if I stood under this?
You can feel free to move wherever you need to, Mr. Drake.
It is hard. Okay, so can you see that, Jasmine?
Yes.
We have 18, this is the State's Exhibit 18.1 that's on the screen. And I'm going to ask if I can for you guys to, well, before you zoom in, are you familiar with Life 360?
Yes.
Okay, and when you see, can you describe to the jury what we're seeing in this image? What is this document?
It's just showing when she started moving. So she left I'm guessing 9:58 she left the apartments and traveled back that way. I was always a little confused about the screenshot, but that's what it's showing, just a trip that she made at that time.
Okay, so let me ask you a couple other questions. Live 360, does it document trips that you take as you're walking or driving?
Yes, everything.
Okay, so it documents everything.
Yes.
Okay. Now, on this, does it document a starting location from where a trip would start?
Yes, the white circle
White circle. And where is the white circle located at in this screenshot?
and still in apartments
Okay. And when does it say that the trip begins?
at 9:58
9:58 is a PM?
p.m. Yes.
Now, there are some lines as I look at it. I don't know anything about Live 360, but there's some lines that go from point to point.
Mhm.
Kind of looks
Yes.
like a jigsaw puzzle or something on here as I look at it. But is there an ending location on this trip?
Yes.
All right, and what indicates the ending location on here?
The little other location icon, the black one.
Location icon, and I'm just going to walk up here just so I can make sure I'm clear. Are you talking about this one?
Yes.
Okay, so the white dot here is the beginning,
Yes.
and this dot here is the ending.
Yes.
Okay. And does the screenshot document ending time?
Yes. 10:07 p.m.
10:07 p.m. Okay. Now, where is the ending at?
It shows the exit we were talking about of the apartments, but I can't say for sure where it's pinned at.
Okay, so, and I'm not looking for an exact location, but just generally, where is it at?
The apartments,
Okay, the apartments. All right,
I think. Sorry.
that's okay. Can we move to Space Exhibit 18.2? Can you see that, Jasmine?
Yes.
Okay, 18.2. Would you describe to the jury what we're looking at here?
This is just showing another trip she made. It was a drive. So there it shows the time for about how long, and it should show the speed. Yes, it shows the speed at the bottom.
Okay, and would you mind zooming in just a little bit on this one? Okay, a little closer here. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, again, what is is it the same on this one where the white circle indicates the beginning and I think you said location icon indicates the end?
No, it's different.
Well, I'm not saying it's the same location,
Oh,
but does on all these trips that are taken, does the white circle indicate the beginning?
yes.
All right, and the location icon, does that indicate the end?
Yes.
Okay. On this one, where approximately is the white starting location for this trip?
It just shows at the intersection of Sillington with Indian Road,
Okay. And then where is the ending point?
near O'Clock Trees.
Near O'Clock Trace. Give us the time at when this trip began and when it ended.
It began at 10:21 p.m. and ended at 10:26 p.m.
Okay. Now, I'm going to move on to State's Exhibit. Just move on to 18.6. Let's skip over a couple, we'll come back. All right, and yes, thank you very much. I've already read my mind. As soon as I zoom in. What are we looking at here, Jasmine? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, and what are we looking at?
It's a notification that like 360 sent that it detected a sudden motion. Usually they send an alert. There's like a sudden stop. It doesn't alert you in case of an accident or anything.
Okay, and was this screenshot sent to you as well?
Yes.
Now, what's the time at which, and I guess let me ask you, it's hard to read for me, and I know that many of you might have trouble reading that text. Can you zoom in just a little bit more, please?
I'll try this.
There we go. All right, that's a little better. My eyes are going. So.
Does that help the jury? Okay.
Okay. And it might just be easier, Jasmine, can you read out the message that was sent?
So, 360 detected sudden motion on Susanna's phone. This could be the result of a collision, hard braking, or a drop phone. We suggest that you call Susanna to check on them, and it provides her number. It says when we hear from them, we'll let you know, and then it sends a link to view her current location.
So that allows the person who receives this, what does the link allow the person who receives the message to do?
The link will just take you to Live 360 and it'll show you her most updated location.
Okay. And this message, we're going to move now to State's Exhibits 18.3. 18.3, and then we'll go to 18.4, but let's just start with 18.3 if we can. Oh. Now, when you clicked on that link, did it show you this location here at Oak Block Trace?
Yes. Well, I wasn't able to click on it, but that was the what it showed when you clicked on it.
Okay, how do you know that?
I'm just familiar with the app, so I know that's what it would show, her last updated location.
Okay, so when you click on that, it shows the last updated. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, it shows up there under Susanna, last updated now.
Very good. Now, these screenshots are not from your phone, right? The 18.3, and we could maybe zoom in a little bit on this for me. The bottom half of it. All right. The last location that this image displays, what is the location?
Near Oak Block Trace on Steve Reynolds, sorry.
Now, on this one, it's a little different because instead of having a white circle or a location icon, it appears to me to be a photograph, perhaps. What is that photograph of?
It would be the contact picture that they had for her. I'll save it for on the phone.
Okay, for whom?
For Susanna.
Okay. So for Kaya, she had that photograph saved as
The profile picture.
profile
Yes.
picture for Susanna. Okay, I understand. And where does, on this particular one, it says that she has been in this location since when?
10:30 p.m.
Okay. Also, if we can go on to 18.4, please. And same thing, if you could zoom in for me, please. All right. And now, if you can point out, and I'm going to give you these two photographs because it's easier, I think, if you look at them side by side. I just don't know how to get them both on the screen at the same time. But the one we just looked at and this one, 18.4, what is, has anything changed as it relates to these two photographs?
Yes.
And explain to the jury what the difference is.
On the one that we just seen, it shows more of location on the road, and then the one that's displaying right now, it shows her more inside of Oak Block Trace.
And that area there, is that a neighborhood?
Yes, it's in the road.
In fact, I want to go ahead and show you at this point what I have marked as State's Exhibit 51. I've previously shown this to Ms. Drake. And do you recognize what's in State's Exhibit 51?
Yes.
All right, and what is it?
It's a satellite view of Oak Block Trail.
Okay, and I say Oak Block Trail?
Yes.
All right, is this the same Oak Block neighborhood we're talking about on these screenshots?
Yes.
Does this appear to be a fair and accurate depiction of that neighborhood?
Yes.
All right, Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit 51.
No objection.
Okay, so 650 is admitted without objection.
All right, now, and I don't have unfortunately, this one, I didn't scan in. This is the only one that I didn't get scanned in, and so I don't have it to put up here on the screen. But if I may, Judge, I'm going to ask the witness a question, and I'm going to ask to publish this to the jury, and just I'll let it pass it between the jurors. If that's it.
Yes.
All right. Can you put State Exhibit 18.4 back up for me? On this area here, I'm just going to give you my pen. Can you circle on State's Exhibit 51, kind of the general area where it says that, and you don't have to be exact, just general area where it says that location is, her location is on Oak Block Trace. Probably should have given you a Sharpie, but that's what we have. Judge, I'm going to show this to Ms. Drake with the alteration to it, where she circled here. All right, can I publish this to the jury?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. And the jury can just take a look at it and pass it once they're done. You got these screenshots, and then because of those, you went and started looking and canvassing the area for us, did you?
Yes.
Did you go into the neighborhood, the Oak Block Trace neighborhood, and look for her?
Yes.
And did you find her phone? The phone, it says here, has been there since 10:30 p.m. Did you find her phone?
No.
Did you find anything suspicious at that point, that a crashed vehicle or anything like that?
No, I didn't.
Did you find any evidence whatsoever of Susie being there?
No.
I want to show you what has previously been marked as State's Exhibits 34 and 35. I showed these from straight. Do you recognize these photographs? You can look through them and let me know if you recognize them.
Yes.
And what are they images of? Or what are they?
Satellite images of my mom's neighborhood.
Okay. And it appeared to be fair and accurate representation of that area in your mother's neighborhood?
Yes.
All right, I move to admit State Exhibit 34 and 35.
Yes, 34 and
34 and
35.
35.
Yes.
No objection.
All right, States Exhibit 34 and 35 are admitted without objection.
May I publish them, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
All right. Can you put a 34 for me, please? So on this, there's obviously a red location icon. Can you tell us what that is representing?
My mom's house.
Okay, that's your mother's house. Since over here to the right-hand side, are you familiar with what this area is over here?
The apartments.
You said the apartments. Can you be more specific?
The Sterling Glen apartments.
The Sterling Glen apartments. Okay.
Yes.
And have you ever measured how far it is from your mother's house to the edge of those apartments?
No.
Give me your best guess on how far you think it is.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be a little. Is it like walking through like here or around?
Just, if we're looking on this image, you can turn and look right here. From your mom's house here to this building here, this neighborhood complex, just ballpark how far you think it is. If you know, and if you don't know, you can't answer, that's okay.
I don't. Sorry.
No problem. I don't want you to guess. And I'm going to go to 35. Just flip one. And similar, although maybe from a little bit of a different angle, the red icon here, the location icon, what is that location?
My mom's house.
And again, down here, we've got a little bit of a bigger view, but down here in this area where we've got the Windscape Village Lane labels here, do you know what that area is?
Yes.
And what is that area?
Sterling Glen apartments.
Sterling Glen Apartments. All right. Thank you. And the last piece of evidence I need to show you here is exhibit number 24, and I should have shown you some straight, but I didn't already. I just want to make sure. I'll show you exhibit number 24. Why don't you take a look at that and let me know if you recognize that?
Yes.
All right. What is it?
It's camera footage of the video we got at King David's Academy.
The surveillance footage?
Yes, surveillance footage. Yes.
All right. Walk me through, how did you obtain that footage?
So that day, I remember you told me. I remember telling you that we walked the whole place. So we went to several businesses to see who were able to give us the footage, and they were one of them that did help us out. So I remember talking to a couple of people, and so we were able to figure out the guy in charge of all the electronics and stuff, and he was able to provide us with that footage.
Okay. So, have you viewed that?
Yes.
How do you know that you viewed that disc?
Got my initials right there.
Okay, so you put your initials on that disc after you viewed it?
Yes.
Is the footage that's contained on that disc a fair and accurate copy of the footage you obtained from King David Academy?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, I move to admit State's Exhibit number 24.
24.
No objection.
All right, States Exhibit number 24 is submitted without objection.
In the video, were they able to download the video and give it to you, or how did you actually get the footage that's on this disc?
The one that's on there, we just took recording with my phone.
Okay. Now, so you, in describing, kind of walk us through what's happening in the room as you're obtaining that footage.
And then we were just, he was asking us for an approximate time that we think so we can check. So we provided the time on the Live 360, and that's when we were able to see her walking direction to my mom's house.
Okay. Would you go ahead and display? Go ahead and display State's Exhibit number 24.
The time is, it's 39:46. That is her.
That's her.
Yeah.
Sí.
Wow.
Entonces sí la levantaron de ahí, mami.
Thank God.
Oh my God. Ahora sí se la llevaron de ahí, entonces. No sabemos nada.
Jasmine, as you watch that, and now I'm sure you've watched it many times, but I'm going to take you back to the first time that you saw it in that video. How did you know it was Susanna?
The curls, I just know her body, and specifically the shirt she was wearing, the yellow tank top, and the blue jeans and the white Crocs.
Okay. So you knew what she was wearing
Yes.
the last time she was seen. You also, I think you mentioned, you know your sister?
Yes,
You know what her body looks like, body type, stuff like
yes,
that? Did you recognize her immediately when you saw that?
immediately.
You obtained that footage, and then what ultimately, was that the next day or was it sometime later?
I can't remember exactly. It would have been either that same day, the 27th, or the following day.
We've talked a lot about the efforts on the, and I say on the day, it's technically the next day, July 27th, all of the efforts that you and your family went through. After that, let's move past that initial day or two. Did you go ever looking and canvassing other areas, looking for your sister?
Yes,
How many times do you think?
more than 20.
And for, I guess, over what period of time? Maybe if you can recall, what was the last time that you went out and looked?
I can't recall the exact time, but it was all those months that we until we found out her.
Okay. So another way of saying that, did you ever stop going out and looking for your sister?
No, sorry.
Gotta speak right into those microphones. They don't pick up too great. So, your sister, was she? How did she feel about her phone?
She was attached to her phone. She was attached to her phone.
Attached to her phone. Okay. And this, I imagine, pretty common for teenagers in general.
Yes.
Is there? Have you ever seen her willingly give up her phone or throw it out or get rid of it?
No.
The area there at Oak Loch Trace that we were just talking about, we've looked at the maps now. Are you aware of any friends or family that Susanna would have had any business going to see there that night?
No.
Now, I want to ask, did you ever know Susanna, I'll call her Susie, as I should call her. Did you ever know Susie to run away from home and not come back?
No.
Let me ask you, sometimes, and I'm a little bit further from being a teenager than you are, but sometimes teenagers and their parents get upset at one another and have arguments, don't get along, and leave the house. Right? A teenager might leave the house because they don't want to be there. Did Susie ever, that you're aware of, ever leave her home and not, because she and your mother or you and her got into an argument, leave the home?
No.
Now, was there ever a time that you can recall where, and I'll ask you this first. Susie was somewhere and you should have known about it, but you didn't know that she was there.
Not that I can recall.
Was there ever a time that you recall your mother telling you about, or in the family, just in that family dynamic, knowing about that Susie didn't tell you guys where she was at?
No.
Did you know her friends? I'll start with Rose. I think her name is actually Esmeralda
Yes.
Castillo. Did you know her?
Yes.
All right. And how long had you known her?
Years.
Would you ever spend time with her?
Yes.
And what about and you also said you knew Kaya
Yes.
as well. And how did you know her?
They're all friends since middle school, so maybe about 3 or 4 years.
What about Kelly? You know Kelly?
I think I had heard of her, but I didn't know her personally.
And what about Alyssa? Did you know Alyssa?
No.
Now, did you know that your sister smoked marijuana?
Yes.
All right. And how did you know that?
I would smell it on her. That's mainly how I found out.
Did you ever talk to her about it?
Yes.
Okay. And I said, as a sister, I don't know, was it just a conversation, or were you confronting her, or what's the nature of the conversations you're having with her?
Kind of everything, confronting her. I would try to tell me like why she's doing it, what makes her want to do it. I'm trying to get her to stop.
Did you ever know Susie to, other than marijuana, did you ever know her to use any other kind of drug?
I did find pops in the room.
What are that? Excuse me.
They're they're vapes. I'm not really sure exactly.
Okay, so you found like a vape pen that people use and smoke?
Yes.
Okay. And Susie was 16, so I know generally the laws about tobacco and minors. She shouldn't have had those?
No.
Okay. So other than a vape pen and marijuana, did you know anything else? Susie, did you do any other drugs?
No.
At any point, did you go through Susie's journal or diary?
Yes.
Was there anything in there related to her use of any other kind of drug than marijuana?
Yes. I recall in the diary she mentioned something about trying. I can't recall exactly the name. I don't know if it was Crystal. I can't remember, but I remember her talking about she didn't want to do it or she didn't like it. I can't say for sure the name of the drug. Sorry.
Okay. A few questions about that. There was something in the, she mentioned a name of some kind of drug.
Yes.
You may recall Crystal, but you're not sure.
I'm not sure.
Do you know, you said though, what else did she say about doing that drug?
It was just that she I think she just wrote about how she felt. I can't remember exactly, but I do recall saying she didn't like it.
She didn't like it.
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any idea? Do you recall? I don't know if Susie dated her journal entries or diary entries, but was there any indication as to how long before she disappeared that entry was made?
I would assume a couple of weeks because it was one of the first pages she had written more after that.
Okay, it's one of the first pages.
One of the first pages.
And do you have any idea how long she had been writing in that?
I don't.
So there were other entries after that.
Yes.
And I assume based on the number of entries and stuff like that, you came up with maybe an approximation in your mind?
Yes.
Okay. After Susie disappeared, we talked about a lot of looking, a lot of people calling and talking to you. Did you yourself ever receive any, I use the general term communication, text message, phone call, social media, anything, any messages, communication whatsoever from Susie after she disappeared?
No.
When was the last time you talked to her?
Probably 3 days before. I texted her.
You texted her. So after that text a few days before, no calls, texts, or communications were after that?
No.
How did you hear about the police finding her body?
It was the day of the funeral. I can't recall if either Carter or Sergeant Biggers texted or called me, but they just let us know that they had something to tell us, and so we came down to the police station, and that's where they informed us.
And at that time, when you found out,
No, I'm sorry, I'm confusing my days. It wasn't the funeral. It was, I think we were gonna go with us somewhere. I think to get more of her dental records, if I'm not forgetting. I remember them come to the house. I was at my mom's house, and then when they got there, we were already going outside, and they asked us to go back inside to talk. And that's when they informed us. I'm sorry about that.
that's not a problem. I appreciate you correcting yourself. What went through your mind when you found out?
A lot of things. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want it to be true. I wanted to see her. I wanted proof that it was actually her. I didn't want to believe that it was her because up to that point we were still looking for her to come home.
Did the police, or did you otherwise find out generally the area where her body was found?
Yes.
Is there that area in Decula, in the woods, that anybody around that area that Susanna would have had any reason to go see?
No.
No friends or family that she would have been visiting there?
No.
Now, at some point, were you made aware of the person that the police charged somebody with her death?
Yes, that was the day of the funeral.
Day of the funeral.
Yes.
And obviously, we're a long ways from that, but did you at some point see his photograph?
Yes, when the news published it, I believe.
Let me ask you, did you recognize him?
No.
Had you ever seen him before?
No.
Had Susie told you anything about a Miles Bryant?
No.
Susie told you anything about a guy she was seeing that she hadn't told anybody about?
No.
Had Susie told you anything about a cop that she was talking to, or that she met, or that she knew?
No.
I think those are all the questions I have for you this time, Jasmine. Ms. Drake is probably going to have some questions for you.
Okay, I'm gonna give the jury a break. We've been going, and I think one of the jurors might need to stretch his legs. We will reconvene at 2:45. Just one moment, I'm sorry. If the attorneys will approach.
They talking to the judge, y'all. Let's see what they finna do. Y'all got any questions? Put them in the chat. Any questions? If not, we're gonna keep listening, y'all. But this is the guy in court. Yeah. So that's the end of that. Let's go.
That DVD, you took that DVD back to your desk. Okay, okay. I'm making my notes. All right, state ready? Defense ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I believe the defense may have some cross-examination of Ms. Perez.
Yes. Good afternoon, Ms. Jazz.
Good afternoon.
I know we've seen each other, but I don't know that I've ever officially introduced myself. My name is Tracy Drake. I appreciate you being here.
Of course, thank you.
I just have a few questions for you. You indicated that y'all had put out flyers.
Yes.
Originally, whose name was on the flyer to call?
Mine and Esmeralda's.
Do you recall speaking to Detective Carter back in January of 23 at the police department? You and your mom went in and spoke with her?
Yes.
Of course, y'all went in separately.
Yes.
Do you remember telling her that Esmeralda's number was on the flyer, so you had to make new flyers?
Yes.
Okay. You also told her you thought it was weird that Esmeralda wanted to be the first to know about everything?
Yes.
After the first couple of weeks, after Susie went missing, did communication with Esmeralda and some of her other friends kind of stop?
Can't recall exactly, but I did remain with communication with Kaya and Esmeralda. Maybe not as frequently, but yes.
I want to go back to her diary. Actually, let's talk about some other stuff first.
I'm curious as to know why she made that distinction about asking her about the flyer and the number and Esmeralda being contacted. Because see, this is the way I think. This is my mindset. So you putting out missing person flyers for your younger sister. There's 3 girls. There's Esmeralda, who's the oldest. There's her, who's the middle, and then you got Susanna, who's missing. Right? Mom is distraught, just distraught. So they're putting out flyers to be contacted with any information. To me, honestly, and I don't know what's gonna come of that. I just don't. You know, a lot of times when these defense lawyers ask the question, they're going somewhere with it, right? But for me, putting Esmeralda's number on the flyer makes sense, and I'm gonna tell you why. You got mom who's upset. You don't want all these calls coming into mom. You trying to basically what I'm saying is I understand why Esmeralda took that role, because had it been me being in the older sister position, I probably would have took it as well. Because you don't want all those people calling your mama. You trying to help mama, so you have the calls coming to you, so you and your sister can investigate. That's just my thoughts. But anyway, I will see what that leads to, because she asked that question for a reason. But anyway, here we go, y'all.
So I'm going to show you what's already been marked and shown to the jury. State's Exhibit 18. That indicates that she was at Windscape Village Lane from 7:28 until 9:58.
Yes.
Now, if your mom testified that she left the house at 6, do you know where she was at between 6 and 7:28?
I don't.
Did anyone ask her friend to send those particular screenshots?
Sorry, I can't recall if we asked her or she just sent them. I'm sorry.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you a couple more questions. So on State's Exhibit 18.5, which again has already been entered into evidence, this is one of the screenshots that says her phone has been out of battery since 10:30 p.m. the previous day. So on the night that she left, her battery was dead at 10:30.
Yes.
Correct?
I'm going to object that she's not asking a question, she's making a statement. So I'd ask her the question.
Okay, I'm going to sustain that objection.
Okay, I said correct, but okay. The crash or dropping or hard braking text was sent at 10:29.
I need you to ask a question, not make a statement.
Okay, was sent at 10:29, correct?
Yes.
So 1 minute after this was sent, her battery died,
Yes.
according to these.
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Drake, I'm going to ask you to ask questions. I think,
Okay. What is this little side piece in 18.3? Do you know?
It just shows that she's on a FaceTime call while taking the screenshot.
Okay, thank you. I always wanted that. I wasn't sure. And you're familiar with Life 360?
Yes, ma'am.
And in State's Exhibit 18.3, it shows a specific location and it states near Steve Reynolds Boulevard. Is that correct?
Yes.
On State's 18.4, however, it's different. What is different between 18.3 and 18.4 as regarding her location?
On 18.3, it says near Steve Reynolds, and 18.4 near Oak Log Trail, and the location being
If
different.
you will look at the picture, what is different from this marking of location and this marking of location?
18.3 shows more on the main street, and then 18.4 shows much more into the neighborhood.
Okay. Does this big purple circle around the dot show a general location?
Yes.
Now, do you know who lives at 3251 Windscape Village Lane?
I don't.
And do you know on 18.1 is what I'm referencing, does it show that she left Kelly's apartment or that address at 9:58?
Sorry, repeat the question one more time.
Does it show that she left 3298 Windscape Village Lane at 9:58?
Yes.
And she walked somewhere and then came back at 10:07 to 3251 Windscape Village Lane. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Do you have any idea where she went and crisscrossed back?
I don't.
Now, do you have Life 360?
I do.
And you're familiar with it?
Yes.
And you're familiar with crash detection?
Yes.
That little email or text, for lack of a better word, that was received. So you are aware that there are certain things that have to happen in order for that alert to be enabled.
Yes.
What has to be done for that to be enabled?
I'm assuming a hard stop, or maybe on a drive.
Since you're familiar with Life 360, are you aware of certain conditions that have to be happening for it to be working?
Exactly conditions? No, I don't.
So you're not aware that, let me see if I can refresh your memory.
Judge, I'm going to object at this point because she's asked the witness if she's aware of any of these conditions that have to be met. She said no. At this point, Ms. Drake is going to be testifying by just trying to interject some testimony that this witness already said she doesn't know the answer to, and she's not trying to refresh her recollection. She doesn't know it. It's not that she doesn't remember it.
Ms. Drake,
I think I can ask her another question. I have her on cross. If she remembers anything about what the battery life has to be on the phone.
okay, is that, I'm a little unclear, is that a condition?
Yes.
She's already, I'm gonna sustain the state's objection.
Okay. So you don't know anyone at Oak Trace Apartments?
No.
The video that was played for the jury, what time was that? What time was the video?
I can't say for sure, but 9:40 to 9:50, I'm assuming.
9:40 to 9:50. So it was actually before she finally left Sterling Glen Apartments, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now let's go back to the diary. You mentioned you thought that she had tried a drug something crystal. Would that be crystal meth?
Can't say for sure.
Okay. Do you remember giving that? Well, you said you remember giving a statement to Detective Carter.
Yes.
Do you remember telling her that she had said something about grease lightning being in her diary?
I can't recall. No, I don't remember.
Okay. Do you also remember telling Detective Carter that it was something meth?
Possibly, yes. I can't say for sure.
Do you recall? Well, let me just ask you, would Susie have gotten in a car with someone that she did not know?
No.
I can have just a moment, please.
Sure.
One more question, and I promise I'll let you go. Do you remember telling Detective Carter that the reason why she didn't want to do that again is because it gave her a better high than weed?
I don't remember.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Drake. State, you have any redirect?
The surveillance video that you obtained from King David Academy, do you remember exactly what the time was on the video monitor?
I can't recall the exact time, but I'm assuming more 9:48. I can't say exactly. I'm sorry.
Now, you're using the words assuming, and assuming sometimes to me means guessing.
Yes, sir.
And so my question is, do you have a recollection at all of what the exact time was?
Your Honor, that was asked and answered. She said between 9:40 and 9:50.
Judge, I think it's a slightly different question. She said she's assuming. I'm just asking her if she knows the exact time.
I believe the answer was, I'm assuming, to the cross
Oh, 9:48.
on 9:48. No, I believe she said 9:40.
To my question, she said
9:40
9:40
to
to
9:50. I'm assuming. I believe she prefaced it with assuming. Okay, maybe she didn't.
I'm just trying to clarify, Judge.
Okay, I'm going to sustain the objections. It's been asked and answered.
Do you recall, when you got that video, was there any discussion about whether or not the cameras there in the King David were off at all? The time on the cameras were off?
Yes, I remember him telling us I was a little old, so
Hearsay.
I'm going to sustain that objection. Ma'am, you can't testify to what someone told you.
Oh.
So,
Sure.
go ahead.
Let me ask it a different way. The times that you just testified about, 9:40 to 9:50 or 9:48, is that with the time, is it the correct time, or is that before you adjust the time for any time that was off on the camera?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. There's no evidence of such, and this witness would not be privy to that knowledge.
She wasn't privy to the knowledge.
Your Honor, I'm going to object if it calls for hearsay.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
The video that was there that you got, the Life 360 application, 9:58, the time that Susie is starting the trip, walking home. Based on your review of the video from King David, is her being captured on that video at King David consistent with her leaving the apartment complex at 9:58 and walking home? Does that make sense?
no, I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Another way to say it maybe is that if she left the apartment complex at 9:58, when you saw her walking in front of the camera at King David, would that be an accurate time? Her walking past it, she left at 9:58, walking home down Singleton Road towards her mom's house, her being captured on that King David video, would that be an accurate time that she was captured on the King David video?
I'm going to object to the form of the question. It's a little bit confusing because he said, would that be when she left at 10? If he wants to say that the same path that she would have taken, that's different.
I'm not understanding your objection.
I'm not either. I'm going to overrule the objection. Go ahead. You can answer the question, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
That's okay.
It's okay. We've got the Life 360 application. It says
Okay,
that
there
the
it
trip
is.
started at 9:58 p.m.
Yes.
when you look at the video from King David, even though the exact time you're not sure of, does it appear that it would be consistent if she left the apartment complex at 9:58? Does it appear she would have passed by King David when that video was captured?
Yes.
Thank you. That's the question I asked.
Donna, may I ask some more questions?
Certainly.
May I approach you again? And
Certainly.
I apologize, I don't believe I asked the court.
No, you can feel free to move about the courtroom, Ms. Drake.
Thank you.
Ms. Drake.
Thank you. (18.1) at 9:58 p.m. This is when she left 3298 Windscape Village, correct?
Yes.
My question asked and answered, and this is where we're going.
Sustained.
Does this 18.1 show her walking by that location?
Yes.
At what time?
It says she's left at 9:58.
She left at 9:58. Does it show her going back to
Wait a minute. Did I rewind it? Hold on.
at 10:07?
Oh,
Yes.
no. She read that. Okay.
And there are other trips that she made after that time that we don't have any data for, correct? We don't know where she went from 6 until 7:28. That's all I have.
When you were reviewing footage of King David, did you find any other footage of her walking past King David at any other point?
I don't think we asked right now.
Thank you.
Okay, I release this witness.
Your Honor, like her mother, I also have her under subpoena, but she's more than welcome to stay.
All right, Ms. Perez, you can step down. If you talk to anyone about your testimony, you're still under subpoena, but you are, the defense has consented to you staying in the courtroom. Okay. All right, state, call its next witness.
State calls Ms. Kaya Jones.
Watch your step and remain standing on the podium. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please be seated. Have you ever testified in court?
No, ma'am.
Okay, my court reporter has taken everything down, so I'm going to need you to speak into the microphone and so that she can capture your words, because we have to take down everything in the courtroom. She can't see if you nod or say, uh-huh. We might say, is that a yes or is that a no?
Okay.
There's water right here if you would like to get some now or at any time. The attorneys are going to be asking you questions. If you'll just wait till they finish what they're saying, you may anticipate their question and start trying to answer it and answer at the same time, and then my court reporter can't take you both down. So just wait till the attorneys finish their question, take a breath, and then answer so that my court reporter can get an accurate record.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Ms. Jones.
Hi.
Can you state your full name
Kaya Jones,
and can you spell your first name?
KYA.
And Ms. Jones, how old are you?
I'm 18 years old.
Okay, and are you working or in school?
I am working currently.
Where are you working?
I'm working at a restaurant.
And what do you do at the restaurant?
I do hosting, to-goes, and serving.
And what about school? What your last grade you finished in school?
I just graduated not that long ago, on the 22nd of last month.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Graduate
From Meadow Creek High School.
Okay. And did you go to Meadow Creek your whole 4 years of high school?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you know Susanna Morales?
Yes.
How long did you know Susanna?
We went to school together since elementary school.
Okay. Were you friends since elementary school?
We knew of each other, but we weren't very close until 6th grade.
What school were you in sixth grade with Susanna?
Radloff Middle School.
And what did you call her?
I called her Susie, Susanna, Sue, just whatever.
And you said friends since sixth grade?
Yes.
How old were you in sixth grade?
11 or 12.
What kind of stuff did you guys like to do together?
We would go get food. We do makeup. We learn dances and songs. She used to play the ukulele, so she would learn songs on that as well. Just hang out.
Who else was in your friend group with you and Susie?
It was me, Susanna, and Esmeralda.
Did Esmeralda also go to school with you?
Yes.
And you and Susanna were in the same grade?
Yes.
Who was older?
I was older.
How much?
A couple months. My birthday is in October and hers is in June. So I think like 5 or 6 months, I believe.
And you said she liked music?
Yes, she loved music.
What kind of, you said the ukulele. How long did she play the ukulele?
I'm not sure. She's always had one since I've known her. She got really interested in it maybe when we were freshmen.
Did she play any other instruments?
Yeah, she had a piano as well. And then we also used to play the violin together in middle school.
Were you guys in any band or groups at school for music?
Just orchestra and chorus.
And back in July of 2022, what grade were you about to enter? What,
I was a song.
or in the summer before 11th grade?
Yes, ma'am.
And was Susie in the same grades then?
Yes, ma'am.
Back then in July of 2022, which area were you living in?
I was living in Duluth at the In-Town Suite still.
Okay. And where did Susie live?
She lived in Norcross on Singleton.
Were you, how were you able to see each other?
It just depends. If it wasn't at school, it was like somewhere outside of school. We used to have cheer practice together. I would go to Esme's house and she would also go there. We would hang out at the mall, a bunch of different places.
And you said Esme, what?
Oh, Esmeralda, sorry.
Esme is what you call her?
Yeah.
And how was Susie like that summer? You said after sophomore year going into junior year, which how would you describe her? Happy, sad, funny?
I think she was very happy. She was a very bubbly person, like just had a really like shining personality. She was very sweet, very nice, very down to do anything with you.
Okay. And back then, was she still doing music in high school too?
I believe so. I believe she was still in orchestra and chorus.
And you mentioned cheer. You both cheer?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that for Medicare?
Yes.
And how would you communicate with her? You guys call, text, social media?
Yeah, all of that.
All
So
that.
like social media, FaceTiming, phone calls, texting.
What social media apps did you and Susanna use?
We used TikTok, Instagram, sometimes Snapchat.
Did you guys make TikToks or Snap videos?
Yes.
What kind of videos did you guys make?
Usually it was dancing videos, or because she was Hispanic, she would teach me a lot of dances as well. So we would do those.
Was she a good dancer?
Yes.
Were you a good dancer?
I'd like to believe so.
Okay. When you guys hung out, whose house did you hang out at?
Usually Esmeralda's house.
Did you sometimes hang out at Susie's house?
Yeah, sometimes.
And at that point, how was her relationship with her mom?
I mean, it was like any relationship a teenager has with their parent. It was, I would say it wasn't bad. It was good.
Did you know her mom too?
Yeah.
And you knew Esmeralda's mom?
Yes.
Did your mom sometimes talk about you girls?
I think so, probably.
Did Susie ever talk to you about getting in any fights or disagreements with her mom?
Sometimes, but it wasn't anything that would worry me. We all have fights with our parents, so.
Okay. Did any of that summer back in June and July of 2022, did anything worry you about Susie then?
No.
She was doing okay?
Yeah.
And we heard some talk before that Susanna smoked marijuana. Did you know about that?
Yes.
How often would she do that?
Pretty often, I would say.
Do you know if she did any other drugs?
I don't believe so.
Did Susanna ever talk to you about running away?
No, never.
Did she ever talk to you about wanting to move out or go somewhere else?
She wanted to live with Esme, but that was just because we were all so close. But never like she wanted to run away or like leave home.
How often do you think you talk to Susanna?
If not every day, maybe every other day.
And with that, what form of communication would you talk to her on when you guys were talking every other day?
I would like to say it's probably mostly texting or FaceTime, but it was definitely at least a text or like a video on social media that we would send each other.
Would you see her when you were not in school during the summer break?
Yes.
How often do you think you saw her in person?
Maybe like every week, at least.
Do you know when the last time you talked to her was?
I think it was a couple of days before she went missing.
And are you familiar with the Life 360 app?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have that on your phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us what Life 360 is.
It's an app where you can add people to your circle. You can add friends, family members, and it'll tell you their location, and you can like name places. So it'll tell you if they're at work or if they're at home.
Okay. Did you have friends or people in your circle on Life 360?
Yes.
Who was in your circle group or your friend group on Life 360?
We had a friend named Andrea Lees. Susanna was in it, Esmeralda was in it, and then one more friend named Kiara.
When did you first get the Life 360 app? Do you remember?
I believe 7th grade.
Okay. And back in 7th grade when you first got it, do you think you were friends with Susanna on it back then?
Yeah.
Do you still have Life 360?
Yes.
So you have used it consistently since 7th grade?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you also communicate or are friends with your family on it?
Yes.
Who in your family are you on 360 with?
My aunt, my uncle, my grandma, my mom. Yes.
Okay. How often do you think you look at it?
Every day.
Every day you look
Every
at it?
day. Yes, ma'am.
Why do you look at it every day?
I would like to know where people are without having to text them. But I think the reason why I look at it every single
Look at Life 360 at someone's, you can see someone's location.
Yes.
Are you able to see if someone is walking, driving, running?
Yeah.
How do you find out if they're walking or driving?
It'll say how many miles per hour they're going. So whenever you open Life 360, you don't even have to click on the person. It'll like, if somebody's driving or if there's multiple people driving, it'll show like a little car next to them.
Okay. What if they're walking?
It'll show like a shoe.
And if their phone is just sitting in their home or not moving, what does it show?
Just their picture, their icon.
And when you have your friends in your Life 360 circle, do you get to choose their pictures on how they show up in that?
No, they choose their pictures whenever they sign up.
Okay. So they can either have, is it always a picture or is it just sometimes just a regular icon?
Sometimes it's a regular icon. They don't have to put a picture. If they don't put a picture, I think it's their initial.
Okay. And when you said you look at it pretty much every day, based on you looking at it every day pretty much since 7th grade, is the person's location usually accurate on Life 360 as to where they are?
Yes, very accurate.
And you sometimes, are you able to know, like if your mom is at your house with you, are you able to see her at your house on 360?
Yes.
Do you check on where your mom is?
Yes.
And is your mom when your mom is in your circle, can she see where you are?
Yes.
So everyone can see where everyone is at as long as you're friends in the app?
As long as you're in the same circle, because you can have multiple circles with different people in it.
So like your circle with Susanna and Esmeralda, was that the same circle as your mom and your uncles?
No.
How many circles back in July of 2022, how many circles did you have?
I believe I had 3.
In your circle with Susanna back in July of 2022, who was in that with you?
Well, I had her in 2 different ones. I had her in one with, like I said, 2 other people other than me, her, and Esmeralda. But then I had one with just me, her, and Esmeralda.
Okay. So both of them were just friends groups?
Yeah.
And since 7th grade till now, when you had the Life 360 app, how many times have you ever gotten a crash alert?
Just that one time.
Tell us what a crash alert is.
They send a text to your phone saying that they are worried, saying that there might have been hard braking or a crash, and to check up on that person, and it sends a link to their location.
And you said that you looked at it every day pretty much since 7th grade to now. You've only gotten that message one time?
Yes.
Yeah. Ms. Kai, I'm going to show you some pictures that have already been admitted into evidence. These are numbered states 18 through 18.6. If you could take a moment and look at those, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
You've seen all of them?
Yes.
And did you take those photos?
I took the screenshots. Yes.
And the one of the hand on 18, who took that one?
I think my mom might have taken like the picture of the phone, but I recognize the screenshot as the picture I took.
And that picture of the hand, is that your phone?
No, that's not my phone.
Do you know whose phone it is?
I'm not 100% sure. It might be my mom's. Maybe it's Jasmine's phone. I'm not 100% sure.
And those pictures that you took, once you took them, the screenshots, what did you do with them?
I sent them to Jasmine, to my mom. I sent them to Esmeralda, I believe, as well, just to try to make sense of what.
Let's talk about that night. So that night you said July 26, 2022. Where were you that night? Your mom?
I was at home.
Was Suzanne with you?
No, ma'am.
Did you know where she was?
No, ma'am.
Were you looking at her location ever that night on 360?
No.
At some point, did you get a contact as to where it was on Susanna?
Yeah, I got that text from Life 360.
And before you got that text, had anyone reached out to you?
No.
And that text that you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about 18.6, is that the text you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
You're on permission to publish 18.6?
Yes. Right here.
Yeah, these pictures are going to be on the screen behind you as well as the screen right there in front of you, okay?
Okay.
So you said you got this text. Do you remember what time you got the text?
Almost around 10, I believe.
So we see in 18.6, can you see the time of the text message?
Yes, ma'am.
And is this your phone that we're looking at this text?
Yeah, the one in the picture.
In this picture? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And what time did the text come in?
10:29.
And when you got this text, did you know where Susanna was?
No, I did not.
Were you awake when you got this text?
Yes.
What did you do when you got this text?
I tried to call her, and she didn't answer, and so I called Esmeralda because I thought they were together.
And did Esmeralda answer?
Yes, she did.
And the links we see in stage 18.6, a phone number. Do you know whose phone number that is?
That's Susanna's phone number.
Okay. And we see a link at the bottom. Did you click that link?
Yes, ma'am.
What did that link show you?
It showed me her Life 360 location at that Oak Ridge apartment, the one right next to Kelly's.
I'm going to give you the pictures back. You can go through them and tell me when you click the link, which picture was it that pulled up?
This one right here.
You're showing us 18.4.
Yes, ma'am.
You got a permission to publish 18.4?
Yes.
And again, this is on the screen. Tell us here, for those of us who don't use 360, what we're looking at, so we understand.
That is her location. Her icon says that it was there.
So that picture we see in the picture with the multiple girls, whose picture is that?
Susanna put that picture up. It's me, Susanna, and Esmeralda.
Is that the picture? So she would have put that as her icon on 360?
Yes, ma'am.
And where is that showing? What is that showing us, the picture?
I believe we're at the arcade.
No, I'm sorry. I get the picture is at the arcade of the 3 girls?
Yes.
Okay. So where is the ring on the 360 app showing that she is?
In the neighborhood right there, the Oak Lock Trace.
Do you know that neighborhood?
No, I have a friend who lives there, but I'm not very familiar with it.
That friend that lives there, was that a friend of Susanna that she would go to?
No.
Did you know any reason why Susanna would be at that location that night?
No.
And we see it says near Oak Lock Trace on the bottom.
Mhm.
And then it says since 10:30 p.m. yesterday. Tell us what those mean.
It says that her location has been there since 10:30 p.m. So like she hasn't moved since then from that area.
Okay. And that's what you got when you opened that link.
Yes, ma'am.
You said you called Esmeralda after you talked to, going to reach Susie, And you talked to Esmeralda, what did you do after you got that alert that night?
After speaking with Esmeralda, she went out there and checked it out because we were thinking she got into a car accident. She couldn't find any debris or anything, so we just assumed that she was sleeping over at a friend's house, and we slept on it.
Did you go out to that location that night yourself?
No, ma'am.
But you said Esmeralda did?
Yes,
How did you know Esmeralda went out there?
I was on the phone with her the whole time.
You stayed with her on the phone the whole time she was out there?
Yes, ma'am.
And if we could pull up picture 18. So this picture is submitted into evidence as 18. Can you explain to us what this is showing us?
The details of her location.
Okay, so that location of 298 Winstead Village Lane, do you know that location?
I believe that's Kelly's house.
Have you been to that house before?
Yes.
And it says that under there sometimes 7:28 to 9:58. What does that mean?
That's like how long she was there.
Okay, so looking at that time, if she got there at, let's say 6:30, would it show on the app?
Yeah, if she got there at 6:30, it would.
What if she was somewhere else, like the living room or the bedroom, a different place, then like her phone moved? Would that change the time?
No, because if it's in like a very small area, then it wouldn't.
What if you're walking around in the parking lot of the apartment complex? Would that change the time?
Yes.
And
They're focusing a lot on that 360 app because that 360 app, as long as she had that phone on, pretty much is telling, it pretty much tells a story of what she, not necessarily what she was doing, but where she was at. And I think from listening to the defense, I'm thinking that the defense is going to try to claim that maybe she went somewhere else, stopped somewhere else. No, this testimony was given about, what's the day, Monday? Thursday, I think. This is Thursday's testimony, but it's the first day of testimony. But that 360 app pretty much, like, if the defense is going to try to say she made a stop before arriving at that friend's house, or she made another stop after leaving, if it's not on that app, she didn't do it. The only way it wouldn't show, the only way where she was wouldn't show up on that app if her phone was dead or she didn't have it. But I'm curious as to where they're going with this whole 360 app, but we're going to listen. We got 15 more minutes, y'all, and then we're going to call it a day and we're going to start back up. Maybe on tomorrow, but definitely the next day. All right, here we go.
you can bring up 18.1. Ms. Carter, looking at 18.1, that's been admitted into evidence, one of the screenshots you took. Can you explain to us, first of all, what is the time on this that it says on the phone?
It says 9:58 p.m. to 10:07 p.m.
Can we make it bigger so we can see the top? Okay, we see the top of the phone.
Mhm.
The 856.
Yes, ma'am.
Whose phone is that? The 856.
That's my phone.
Okay, and the battery, the little LTE yellow battery, that's your phone?
Yes, ma'am.
And we see the short trip, the 9:58 to 10:07. Tell us what that means and what we're looking at here.
So it's basically a trip is anytime you make movement that's big enough for it to capture. So like if you go on like a car ride to the store and come back, it'll show you the trip, like the highest miles and stuff like that. Or if you go walking across the street or something, and that's what it means.
So we see that path there with the white dot to the black dot on crisscross.
Yes, ma'am. I'm not entirely sure.
And if we could look at 18.2. And again, you took this screenshot, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us what we're looking at here.
That shows her driving from the front of her neighborhood.
Did Susanna have a car?
No, Susanna did not have a car.
Did she drive?
No.
Do you know at 10:21 p.m. Who she would be driving with?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. And we see that location that says Steve Reynolds Boulevard at the end. Can you explain to us from the white dot to the black dot up top what that means?
It means that she started at where the white dot is, the Steve Reynolds Boulevard. She started there, and then she ended where that black dot is. That's where the trip ended.
Okay, and we see on the bottom, the speed, the phone usage. Explain to us what those mean, the top speed.
Yeah, so the top speed will just tell you like the fastest speed, like on the whole trip, the fastest that you've gone. The phone usage, it'll see how much he's been on the phone. The other ones, the other three, I don't have like the gold membership, so I'm not familiar with those.
So is that why we see that little lock? You can
Yeah.
see that stuff? Okay. That location of Steve Reynolds Boulevard, do you know why Susanna would be over there?
Yes.
The top location where it stopped at Steve Reynolds Boulevard location?
Where she ended?
Yes.
No.
Do you know any friends, you guys in your friend group have any friends over there?
No.
And if we can look at 18.3. And so we see at the top, what time is this on your phone?
12:12.
And tell us what we're looking at in this picture of the screenshot you took.
This is Susanna's location, and I was on that little box is a FaceTime call I was on with Esmeralda,
Okay.
and yeah, it's a screenshot of her location.
Okay, and on the bottom where it says under her name by her picture, what does it say under her name?
Under her name?
Yeah.
It says near Steve Reynolds Boulevard since 10:30 p.m. yesterday.
What does that mean?
It means that she's been at that location or near the location since 10:30.
Okay. And we could go to, I'm sorry, what is the battery? We see under a little battery thing under Susanna's picture on the bottom.
Yes, ma'am.
What does that mean?
It tells what her phone battery is.
And what is the phone battery is there?
9%.
And do you know, have you ever used the 360 app when your battery's dying?
Yes.
Tell me how that works with your battery.
Whenever your battery is low, you can whenever somebody else's battery is low, you can send them a message to charge their phone. That's pretty much it. You just can see other people's battery lives to be able to let them know that they need to charge their phone.
Can you still see someone's location when their battery is low?
Yes.
And in this picture of 18.3 where it's at 12, what is the battery this day for Susanna?
9%.
And we're going to go to 18.4. And this picture, 18.4, this also you took the screenshot.
Yes, ma'am.
And tell us what we're looking at here.
It's still her same location, so it said that she had been there since 10:30, so she's still there.
She's still at that location.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is that the same location where the crash alert you got was located at?
Yes, ma'am.
And what time is it now on your phone you took this?
12:22.
And the battery, at Susanna, what is her battery at this point, 10 minutes later?
I believe that says 7%.
And we're gonna go to 18.5. This picture, tell us what we're looking at here on the phone.
That is whenever her phone ran out of battery, so it doesn't show the location anymore because her phone's out of battery.
Okay, so we see that it says since 10:30 p.m. Does that mean that her battery's been out since 10:30 p.m. or since that's her location since 10:30 p.m.?
It means that is where she was at, like her location since 10:30 p.m.
So this is showing us on 18.5 that she has been at that location off Steve Reynolds since 10:30 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
And are we able to tell what time her battery went out?
I don't believe so.
But even though her battery is out, you're still tracking her location on her phone.
Yes.
And this says 8:56. Do you know, is that 8:56 in the morning or the night?
I'm not sure.
Because we see it says, it was Susanna's was last updated 15 hours ago at the top.
Mhm.
So would that be the next morning? Or you
I think it's PM.
don't know? And again, that crash alert you got, you've only ever gotten one.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you drop your phone off the table at your house, you don't get a crash alert.
No, ma'am.
And if your battery runs out, do you get a crash alert or?
No, ma'am.
And you said you talked to Esmeralda that night while she was at the location and didn't see anything, signs of a crash.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you ever able to reach Susanna that day?
No.
The next morning, what did you do?
The next morning, I woke up and I checked my phone, and Esme had told me that she still hadn't been in contact with anybody and that her mom had filed a police report.
And at that point, have you heard from Susanna?
No.
And did you check your other social media to see if she had any signs on Snap or TikTok or anything?
Yes.
And did you see her on any other social media?
No, ma'am.
Did you take any steps to look for Susanna?
Yes. So the night after she went missing, me and some of my family and friends went to the location that it said she was last at in that neighborhood and looked around. I even asked my friend if we could look at her ring footage or maybe if she seen or heard anything to let us know.
Is that your friend who lived on the Oak Block Trace apartments?
Yes.
And did you look at that ring?
Yes. There was nothing on there.
Okay. Besides looking at that location, well, how long do you think you spent at that location?
It was a couple hours. It definitely was a couple hours. Because we looked up and down the road, all in the neighborhood. There was like a shed in there that we looked in.
Do you also use the Find My Friends or Find My on the iPhone?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have Susanna on that Find My?
Yes.
Did you look for Susanna on the Apple Find My app that night also?
Yes.
What did it show for that?
It's not very accurate on Find My like it is on my 360.
So
So
you find that like 360 is more accurate than the Apple app?
yes.
And you said you searched that location on Oak Trace. Did you look at any other locations?
Yes. I looked at the front of her neighborhood to see if we can find anything of hers, like any jewelry or like a croc charm. To see if we can see like skid marks. I used to look for her in parks and stuff.
When you were out there at the Trace
Hey,
location.
Tia.
were
Okay,
police there
sweetie.
too?
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Who else was there with you besides you and police?
Her mom was there, her sister, her boyfriend Axel, Esmeralda was there, my mom was there, my uncle was there, my sister was there, her boyfriend. It was a lot of us.
So all of you were looking?
Yes.
Okay. Those pictures that we look at up there, did you give those to the police?
Yes, ma'am.
You said you searched some area parks and stuff?
Yeah.
Did you also help hang up letters?
Yes.
Did you ever hear from Susanna again after that?
No, ma'am.
How did you find out what happened to Susanna?
I was with Esmeralda and she had gotten a call from her friend.
You need a minute? Hey, you want some water?
Yes.
Take your time.
So I had asked you when you found out what happened to Susanna.
Yeah, I was at Esmeralda's house. We had just both come back from school and she got a call from one of her friends. He told us he had something to tell us and to sit down. And then he sent us a screenshot of an article that came out saying that it was her.
And did you ever know anyone who wanted to hurt Susanna?
No.
Did she ever talk about in a fight with anyone or anyone trying to hurt her?
Nothing like violent or anything.
And that charged with doing this Miles Bryant, did you know him?
No, I did not.
Did Susanna ever mention him to you?
No.
Had you ever seen him before you saw his picture on TV?
No.
You went to her funeral?
I did.
How was that?
It was very.
I don't know the relevancy of that.
I'll go back.
Response, okay.
When you found out that what happened to her? What were you thinking?
At first I was in denial. I was thinking that maybe it couldn't have been her. Maybe it was somebody else. I think I was in shock.
One moment. Thank you. Another question, please. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you.
Is it Miss Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Ms. Jones. My name is Tracy Drake. We haven't met yet. I just have a couple of questions for you. So you were not watching Life 360 in real time, correct?
Like whenever she.
You were not watching all of her movements as she was going, as they were happening, correct?
Correct.
In fact, you only checked Life 360 after you got this alert. correct?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Again, 18.5. This indicates, does it not, that her phone is out of battery since 10:30 p.m. yesterday?
So the since 10:30 p.m. yesterday, that is where her location stayed at. But the phone out of battery is just her phone was out of battery.
Okay, does it show a location here?
Relative, but not exact because her phone is dead.
Where does it show her location on here? Where's there an icon showing her location?
There's no icon.
Do you know anyone that lives at 3251 Windscape Village Lane?
3251, I don't believe so.
Okay, do you know who lives at or near 3298 Windscape Village Lane?
I don't know the exact number, but I know that's Kelly's neighborhood.
Okay. And you said the Oak Lock Trail is right beside Kelly's apartment complex?
It's close by.
Don't laugh because I'm totally going to mess this up. Is it Find My?
Yes, ma'am.
I knew what Snapchat was. I got that. On the Find My app, did you get a crash alert or anything like that?
On Find My, no.
And I have Life 360. You have Life 360. I was very impressed that you created all these different groups. Maybe you can show me how to do that. Are you very familiar with Life 360?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're aware that for the crash hard break to be accurate, the battery life has to be at least 10%.
I am aware now.
And the last contact you had with her.
That's true. That's true. To get any notifications on that app, your phone has to be charged at least 10%. That's why when it gets to like, and I'm thinking 10%, I think it is. Like when anybody in your circle, if their phone battery dies and is at 10%, it'll alert you, and then it'll alert that person. It'll alert you in the circle too as well to maybe notify them and let them know that their battery is at 10% and for them to charge it up. Because once it goes below that 10%, nothing's gonna ping. Yeah.
Was a few days before?
I believe so.
I just want to ask. So on 18.6, which is the text that you got, it keeps being referred to as a collision or a crash alert. But doesn't it say that detected sudden movement?
Yes, ma'am.
Which could be a dropped phone, hard braking, or a collision.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all I have. Thank you very much, ma'am.
This one, Chichi? Sure.
Just kind of, do you know if the Apple Find My app sends crash alerts?
I don't believe so. I've never seen anything.
And we're going to pull up again 18.3. So here on 18.3, it says 12:12, right? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And the battery life is 9%.
Yes, ma'am.
So does that mean at 10:30, the battery life would have been more or less?
More.
And looking at 18.4, at 12:22, is that correct, the time there?
Yes, ma'am.
And the battery, what does it say there?
7%.
So it's going down from 12:12 to 12:22, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So again, at 10:30, the battery life would have been more than 10%?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Thank you.
One more question. But ma'am, didn't you testify earlier that this is a screenshot that you took with your phone? And you
Yes,
said
ma'am.
the battery life was your battery life?
No, ma'am. That's not my battery life.
More questions?
Sorry. Ms. Kaya, were you watching the Life 360 Susanna's location at 12:12 to 12:22? Were you actively watching?
I was looking at it. I was in between texting her and texting Esmeralda, but I was mainly on there.
So you were monitoring Susanna's location after
Yes.
you got that crash alert, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, may we release this witness?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Ma'am, you are released. You can remain in the courtroom or you can leave. State call its next witness.
All right, y'all, we're gonna end it right there for today. I think the next witness is gonna be another. I keep saying Esmeralda is the sister, but I think that's the other friend. But anywho, I'm not for sure, y'all, if I'm gonna continue this tomorrow or definitely on Wednesday. I hadn't decided yet. But to those that joined this live and supported this live, thank y'all so much. We'll be back though to continue the testimony with the other friend. So if anybody got any questions, let me know right now. If not, we're gonna get off of here. And in probably about an hour, I'm going to like I say, it's not gonna be any content or anything. I'm just gonna do a premiere, and I'm gonna put that because I don't feel like trying to edit that and put it back up that live from yesterday. So I'm just gonna replay it, but there's not gonna be any content. Not content, but commentary. I'm just gonna play it and put it back out there. Okay, so with that being said, listen, thank y'all so much for joining. I appreciate it. Please hit the like button on the way out if you didn't hit on the way in. And yeah, I see y'all in about an hour over on the T channel. Until then, True Citizens State Gang, stand up, and we out. Thank y'all so much for support, and I love y'all.